Hello everyone, let's discuss the Geography and Environment section of AIPMT 1, All India Prelims Mock Test. So, you may have given the test and you can see the nature of questions that we have framed. They are similar to the trend that we are observing in last 2-3 years, that UPSC is focusing on certain resource related questions, the mineral ores and what kind of, let's say, minerals are found in different parts of the world as well as in India. Along with that, the mapping questions are very prominent in last 2-3 years, especially places in news. So we have also tried to cover the important places in news, and in subsequent AIPMTs we will try to cover the remaining also places in news in last 1 year. So without any delay, let's start the questions, discussing questions, and we'll keep it brief, as yes, you have the explanation PDF with you. In detail explanation we have provided, and you can download the question paper and explanation from the description of this video also. The first question: sugar industries are ideally located within the cane producing regions. Statement 1. Statement 2. Sugarcane is highly perishable and starts to lose its sugar content as soon as it is harvested. Yes, when we learn about the sugar industries from the mains perspective, we learn about this, the location of sugar industries in different parts of the country, and already UPSC has asked question in mains GS1 regarding the sugarcane industries. So sugar mills and all. Okay? So sugarcane is, we can say that, the weight losing raw material. We know about this. And sugarcane, if you talk about the percentage of sugar that is produced from the sugarcane, only 10 to 12% of the weight is converted into the final product, and that's why we can say that it starts to lose its sugar content. Yes, so once it is harvested, it needs to immediately go into the sugar mills for the sugar production, and therefore the sugar industries are ideally located within the cane producing, generally within the 100 kilometer area of the sugarcane producing areas, we can say that. And that's why statement 2 is explaining correctly the statement 1. Both statements are correct, so answer would be A. Yes, it was pretty simple, but this requires, we can say, the basic understanding of distribution or location of different industries. That is basically your part of your mains examination. Yes, look at the framing here. This year UPSC has adopted this type of framing, match the following, we can say that, and 3 columns they are giving, and I have been telling students that this is a kind of, we can say, advantage to you. Why? Because any one information from 3, if you find it is incorrect, so you can find that the pair is incorrectly matched. So yes, very simple. Wheat, gram and sunflower, you may know, let's say, the seasons, let's say these crops are grown in, but the problem is the leading producing states, and you need to know the recent data about that. If you again prepare for mains examination, you will easily find them correctly. And every year UPSC also asks one question on crops and their production, export, import and all these things. Now wheat, we know that it is Rabi crop, but what about the leading producing state? It is not Madhya Pradesh, rather it is Uttar Pradesh. So it is incorrect, incorrectly matched. Gram, yes, it is not Kharif, rather it is Rabi crop. It is a Rabi crop. Here itself we got this incorrect. You need not to know this information, but yes, which is the leading producing state for gram? It is the Madhya Pradesh. What about the sunflower? Sunflower, rather it is grown in the tropical regions of Indian Peninsula in both seasons, Kharif as well as Rabi season. But prominently the sunflower is grown in the Kharif season. So we can get this, let's say, as a Kharif season. And this one information, Haryana, it is incorrect. Rather it is the Karnataka that is the leading state for sunflower. All 3 are incorrect. ठीक है, और यहाँ पे correctly match पूछा हुआ है. So none of them is correctly matched here. That's why D is the correct answer. Fine. Now next question. Cassiterite, abundantly available in the states of Haryana and Chhattisgarh in India, is rich source of which of the following? In past, in 2023, UPSC has asked questions like the mineral ores of ilmenite and rutile are the sources of which of the following mineral? So similarly, we have asked this question. Cassiterite is the prominent, we can say, ore of, we can say, tin. So around 77% of tin can be extracted from this cassiterite ore, we can say. So C is the correct answer here, tin. And in India, the resources are available in Haryana and Chhattisgarh, most of the tin resources. Okay. Now, about the Indus River, every year UPC asks one question minimum from geography on rivers. Okay, so that's why we have asked this. Indus River and Indus Water Commission has been in news, and that's why we are discussing this. Indus River, it is antecedent river. This is correct. Antecedent river, or it is showing antecedent drainage. So what are antecedent drainage systems? Basically, when the river is ancient river and it is crossing the newly formed mountains, it is cutting those mountains so as to maintain its earlier course. We can call them as antecedent river. So Indus is there, Satluj is there, even Brahmaputra is there. So all these are antecedent rivers. River Kabul is the left bank tributary of Indus. Now Kabul is meeting the Indus from right side. So we can say that it is right bank tributary. So it is incorrect. The prominent left bank tributaries of Indus, जो 5 river जो है, Panchnar, or we can say that the Ravi, Bias, Satluj, all these rivers, they meet from the left side of Indus in Pakistan. So we can say that this is incorrect statement. Satluj, Bias, Ravi are known as western rivers as per the Indus Water Treaty. As per the Indus Water Treaty, the waters of Indus and its 5 tributaries have been divided, and 3 rivers are considered eastern rivers. They are basically, we can say that Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. They are considered as western rivers rather, and their waters are basically used by Pakistan, and the eastern rivers, that is Satluj, Bias and Ravi. यहाँ पर लिखा है western, ये क्या है? Eastern rivers है rather. So this is incorrect statement, and their waters are used by India. So this is incorrect. This is incorrect. Only first, that is only one is the correct answer. So A is the correct answer here. Fifth question. About 1/2 of the world's nickel, a metal required for manufacturing of batteries for electric motor vehicles, is produced by. Now similarly, UPSC had asked in 2023 the question on cobalt. About 70 to 75% of the cobalt reserves are located in. So option was basically Democratic Republic of Congo, this country in Africa. So similarly, we are asking nickel, which is also used. Cobalt is also critical mineral. Nickel is also one of them. And nickel, 50% of the nickel at present is produced by Indonesia, so Southeast Asian country. Okay, so B is the correct answer. All right, now silver dividend. So this year UPSC has asked question on demographic, let's say winter in mains examination. Such kind of term based questions can be asked in your prelims also. What is silver dividend? Silver, basically silver hair कब होता है? Old age. From that logic, basically it is said silver dividend. So it is basically the economic benefits arising from the country's elderly population contributing to the workforce and economy. So B is the correct answer. That is called as silver dividend. ठीक है, तो B is the correct answer about it, and can be also asked in your mains examination from, let's say, society perspective, even in geography also, GS1. Continental drift hypothesis or continental drift theory given by Wegener. So we learn about this in tectonic theory, geomorphology. He gave 2 forces responsible for movement of the continents. One of them was polar fleeing forces or pole fleeing forces, and the other was tidal force. So polar fleeing forces are due to rotation of Earth around its axis. And because of polar fleeing force, Wegener said that all these continental masses are moving towards the equator region. They are fleeing the poles. They are moving towards the equator. While the other force, that is tidal force, nothing but the, let's say, gravitational force of attraction of moon and sun, that was responsible for the movement of continents towards the westward direction. ठीक है, तो ये क्या है आंसर इसका? B is the correct answer. Rotation of the earth. Fine. Now next question. Yes, consider the following. In past UPSC has asked similar kind of question. Which of the above are cold, or how many of the above are cold currents? So prominent ocean currents, mapping section is also there. So you know the cold currents, Labrador current, yes, the eastern coast of North America, the cold current is coming from there. Gulf Stream is rather warm current. We know that it is moving from Florida, Gulf of Florida, that region, then it is emerging as Gulf Stream, and then it becomes the North Atlantic drift. It is the warm ocean current. So this is, we can say that incorrect, or it is not the cold current. Yes, Falkland current, it is the cold current, we can say that. So this is correct. Then Oyashi current is also, we can say, where the Japan, it is meeting with Kuroshio current, that is warmer one. Oyashi is the colder one. So we can say that only 3 is the correct answer here, the cold currents. All right. Now again the rivers, the shape of deltas and countries. This is from GC Leong. It may not be given in NCERT. We know that the types of deltas are given in, we can say, GC Leong book. How many of the above rows given information correctly matched? So Mississippi bird food delta USA. Yes, this is correctly matched. Mississippi river is in USA and it has bird food delta, let's say, form in Gulf of Mexico. Now second is Nile arcuate delta. Yes, arcuate delta is basically forming like the branches of trees. So we can call it as arcuate delta, or dendritic form kind of thing, we can say that. So arcuate delta is formed by Nile, Ganga, Brahmaputra river. So Nile river, Egypt, this is correctly matched. What about the Amazon? Amazon is forming basically estuarine delta. So this is incorrectly matched, although it is located in Brazil. So this is incorrectly matched. Ebro in Spain. This is located in Spain, but it is not estuarine, rather it is cusped. So this is again incorrectly matched. Cusped delta is basically a kind of delta wherein the wave action is more prominent on the sediments that are deposited in the delta region, and that's why it is forming a cusped shape, and this is incorrectly matched. Only two pairs are correctly matched here. B is the correct answer. Alright. Now, statement 1, statement 2. Within temperate zone, the midday sun never shines overhead on any latitude beyond Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This is correct. Temperate zone is basically beyond the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and we can say that the northern boundary or southern boundary is, we can say that the Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. Now here, the angle of sun's rays goes on decreasing towards the pole. That is true, and that's why the sun is never overhead here. It is well explained from this statement. Generally, we know that the sun is overhead between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn only. Otherwise, what we observe throughout year is beyond these regions, the sun is never overhead. So both statements are correct, and statement 2 is explaining correctly statement 1. Moving on, let's say 11th question for geography. In equatorial regions, the year is divided into 4 main seasons. Now we know that in equatorial region, the seasonal effect is, we can say that, not there. Hot and humid is the prominent season and seasonal influences are not there. We cannot divide the year in the different seasons in equatorial region. But as we move from equator towards the pole, rather in temperate zone, we can see such kind of 4 seasons observed. So this is incorrect. In Mediterranean region, summer months receive more rain. Now Mediterranean region, which is having CS type of climate, according to, we can say that, Köppen's classification, summer dry. So in summer, rather there is no rain, and in winter there is, we can say that, there is rain in the Mediterranean. Rainy winter. Okay, so that's why this statement is incorrect. In China type climate, rainfall occurs throughout the year. Rainfall occurs throughout the year. Yes, that is true. That's why it is, we can say that, throughout the year. How? During summer, it is receiving, let's say, rainfall due to trade winds. And during winter, generally, it is receiving the rainfall from the cyclones also. ठीक है, तो आपको ये पता होना चाहिए, throughout year it is receiving rainfall. China type, the eastern coast of China, this particular region is showing this kind of climate. Tropical highlands exhibit vertical zonation of different climates. This one is correct. ठीक है, तो पहले दो incorrect है. Tropical highlands, let's say Himalayan region, or we can say that the tropical highlands, it is talking mountainous region, tropical region. Yes, as we move from the let's say bottom or foothills of any particular mountain, and as we move up, there is changes in the temperature and we can say that overall climate due to lapse rate. ठीक है, तो we can say that this is correct. 3 and 4. So यहाँ पे देखिए कौन से statement सही है, ऐसा बोला गया है. 3 and 4 only. That is, D is the correct answer. D is the correct answer. All right. Next question. Yes, soils. Laterite soils are infertile soil with no impact of manures and fertilizers on its fertility. Second statement. Laterite soil is the result of intense leaching due to heavy rain. Now, how laterite soils are formed? Yes, they are formed due to intense leaching, and they are formed in hot and humid region where there is more rainfall. Like in India, Western Ghats, let's say coast of Western Ghats, or simply western slopes of Western Ghats, where it receives more rainfall, lateritic soils are formed. Now, these soils can be, let's say, fertile soils if appropriate amount of manure and fertilizers are applied. So, first statement becomes incorrect and statement 2 corrects statement becomes correct. So, first incorrect bola hai, so D is the correct answer here, right? D is the correct answer. All right. Now, how many of the above reasons are responsible for dryness of Sahara desert? Yes, Sahara desert is formed because of, let's say, few reasons. The major reasons, let's say, prominent location along the high pressure, tropical high pressure, we can say that belt, pressure belt, tropical high pressure or subtropical high pressure belt. Okay, so that is the main reason. The other reasons are like rain shadow effect of Atlas mountain. Atlas mountains are located along the northwestern part of we can say African let's say continent and Morocco and that region. So yes, it is having some kind of, let's say, rain shadow region, effect. This is correct. Somali current off the coast of East Africa. Now, this is not having as such any kind of impact on formation of Sahara desert. Somali current is a warm current and that's why it is not having any kind of effect. Rather, the cold current that is flowing along the western coast, okay, Canaries current, that is cold current flowing along the western coast of Western Africa. So, that is also, we can say that playing the role. This one is not. Location of the continent in the or the Sahara desert in the interior of the continent. So, here the continentality effect. So, as we move away from the ocean region, so the moisture carrying winds, okay, so they are not reaching up to that point, that particular location, and that's why we can say that it remains dry. Okay, so yes, third one is correct, we can say only 2 is the correct answer here. Okay, only 2 is the correct answer. 74. Yes, refugee camps, UPSC has asked question on refugee camps like BBBB, ठीक है, या फिर जो refugee camps जो आजकल वो पूछ रहा है, या फिर locations where the civil conflict is happening or any kind of, let's say, civil war, political unrest, economic, let's say, crisis, such kind of, let's say, topics they are asking. So, Jabalia camp, where it is located? It is located in Gaza, Israel or Palestine, let's say, region. So, it is not located in Sudan. This is incorrect. Now, Bhashan Char Island, yes, it is located in Bangladesh. This is correctly matched. What about this one? Alagaya refugee camp. So, Alagaya refugee camp is located in Sudan, not in Kenya. So, this is incorrect. Okay, so only one is correctly matched. So, A is the correct answer. Okay, A is the correct answer. Now, what about this? How many of the above countries share border with the Mediterranean Sea? Very prominent, let's say, location that UPSC keeps on asking, and at present the conflict between Israel, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, or we can say Hamas, that's why it is in news. Okay, so yes, Mediterranean Sea, UPSC has asked in past questions like we can say that the location of Golan Heights. Okay, Golan Heights or Golan Peninsula, that region they have asked. Okay, or a Levant region they have asked in the prelims. So, they can ask such kind of, let's say, topics again. And among these countries, Syria is having, let's say, border with Mediterranean Sea. Lebanon is, we can say, having major border. Israel is also there. What about Jordan? Jordan is not having. Rather, the small opening of Jordan with the Red Sea through Gulf of Aqaba, that is the region. So, only 3 is the correct answer. C is the correct answer here, right? Alright, these were the geography questions. Now, quickly we will have a look at environment section. Yes, the environment section. So, first question. So, immediately we will start discussing, but you can see that environment section has been let's say, major challenge for most of the students in last few years. And UPSC has been, let's say, keeping this particular section as dynamic. They do not want to set any kind of trend. But the prominent aspect you can remember is species based questions, protected areas, environmental law, prominent environmental laws in the country, and we can say that international initiatives to deal with the climate change and wildlife protection and biodiversity conservation. These are the prominent areas that UPSC every year keeps on asking this. So, first question is basically on species. How many of the above mentioned animals are naturally found in India? This is the common framing UPSC that keeps on framing such kind of questions. In India, we know that red panda is found in Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, that region, Darjeeling, that region. So, this is correct. About first three, you can see squirrel monkey. It is located, let's say, found in South America prominently. Okay, native of South America, not Africa. Pardon me. Now, meerkats, they are prominently found in Southern Africa, South Africa, and other countries. We can say Southern Africa, Botswana, and that region. Spider monkey, again we can say Central and Southern America. Okay, so in explanation we have added information and photographs. Spider monkey is very unique. ठीक है, तो जैसे उसका जो एक 5 उंगलियां 4 ही उंगलियां होती है, तो इस तरीके से उसके स्पेसिफिक इंफॉर्मेशन भी आपको पता होनी चाहिए. So only one is the correct answer here. A is the correct answer. All right. Now, what about this one? Yes, this initiative, 4 per 1000 initiative. This was launched by French government at COP21. It is Paris Summit 2015. It is related to restoration of degradable lands and increase in stored soil carbon. This is essentially a multi-stakeholder initiative wherein the private companies and the other, let's say, non-profit organizations, and we can say that the civil society organizations and the farmers, all they will together, research organizations, they will together, let's say, take initiative for increasing the soil carbon. So, stored soil carbon, A is the correct answer. 4 per 1000 initiative. Such kind of questions have been asked by UPSC every year. Now, regarding the behavioral aspect of different species, parasitoid behavior of some species can be exploited for biological pest control by the farmers. Recently, there was one study regarding it, and which shows that certain kinds of, let's say, biopesticides can be used. इसको क्या है, बायोलॉजिकल पेस्ट कंट्रोल की बात कर रहे हैं. बायोपेस्टिसाइड्स, species themselves can be used for as a biopesticide, and that is efficient. Why? Because chemical pesticides, they are becoming problem for environment and human health. So parasitoids can develop on or within their host, such as it makes the host sterile also, so that it is not able to reproduce. ठीक है, तो ये काफी यूनिक बिहेवियर है कुछ let's say species का, उनको parasitoids बोलते हैं. So we can say that A is the correct answer here regarding parasitoids and their behavior. All right. Now, Earth's magnetic field can be sensed and used for navigation by how many of the, let's say, mentioned species? ठीक है, तो Earth's magnetic field can be sensed by several organisms, including sharks, or we can say that orangutans also, bats prominently they use, and dogs also. All 4 is the correct answer. ठीक है, all 4 is the correct answer. Some of the birds, and we can say that oceanic species, migratory species, they can also sense Earth's magnetic field. जैसे migratory species होता है, olive ridley turtles, they migrate for thousands of kilometers within the ocean, or migratory birds coming from Siberian region to Central Asia, so or Asian region, we can say that. So all 4 is the correct answer here. Now, as per Indian standards prescribed by CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, the particulate matter 2.5 should not exceed 5 microgram per cubic meter. Now this is factually incorrect. It is 40 micrograms per meter cube. This 5 is basically WHO standards. So you can see that in India, CPCB standards, they are much, we can say, let's say, linear as compared to WHO standards related to PM 2.5. PM 10 can easily penetrate into bloodstream of humans and cause oxidative. It is not the PM 10, rather PM 2.5 can penetrate, not PM 10. So this is incorrect. First one is incorrect. Electrostatic, we can say that precipitators, ESPs, जो एग्जॉस्ट में होते हैं, गाड़ी के एग्जॉस्ट आपके 2 व्हीलर 4 व्हीलर, या फिर जो चिमनीज होते हैं पावर प्लांट्स के, थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स के, वहां पर ये लगाया जा सकता है टू एलिमिनेट पार्टिकुलेट मैटर फ्रॉम द एग्जॉस्ट gases. So this one is correct. Only one statement is correct here also. So we can say A is the correct answer. Now, when a country ratifies the Ramsar Convention and becomes the contracting party to it, Ramsar Convention, which of the following obligations are imposed on it? Such kind of questions can be asked, and it is going one step ahead. Up till now, UPSC has been focusing on asking basic question on Ramsar Convention and sites. तो यहाँ पे देखिए criteria, at least one wetland of international importance must be designated by the member country. This is correct. The member country must introduce certain legislative changes in its governing framework to prohibit The tourism in the wetlands of India. Now here the word is prohibit. Now this is tricky. Rather it is not prohibiting, regulating the activities of tourism. Okay, so regulates the activities, not prohibit. This is incorrect. So that's why answer becomes 1 only. Answer becomes 1 only. Okay. Now with reference to Wildlife Protection Act 1972, consider the following statements. So I was telling you, environmental law से related question जरूर आता है UPSC में. We are also trying to cover elephant along with other animals like camel, donkey, horse and mule are identified as vehicle. This is correct. Okay. Now use of elephants for religious or other private purposes is strictly prohibited in the country. This is incorrect. We know that elephants are used for religious purpose, and Wildlife Protection Act amendment that was done in 2022. Now this has provided under section 43, it provides for elephants to be used for religious and any other private purpose. So elephants rules have been notified under this amended act. This is incorrect. Artificial propagation of scheduled specimens is allowed within we can say that the country. This is correct, we can say. Artificial propagation, so this is allowed. नेचुरली जो है नेचुरल वाइल्ड लाइफ से लेके इधर से उधर लेके जाना वो अलाउड नहीं है. सो वी कैन से दैट थर्ड स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. फर्स्ट एंड थर्ड तो क्या होना चाहिए आंसर? सी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ऑल राइट. 58. ओके. नेशनल बोर्ड फॉर वाइल्ड लाइफ. तो स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडीज are the bodies created under different environmental laws. Such kind of, let's say, questions on institutions can be asked. National Board for Wildlife is very prominent statutory body set up under which act? Wildlife Protection Act, under Ministry of Environment. This is correct. It is headed by Union Environment Minister. This is incorrect. It is headed by Prime Minister. It is very prominent body, especially responsible for conserving the biodiversity through regulation of changes in the, we can say, boundaries of any national park within the country. So if we want to change any boundary of national park, tiger reserve, or we can say that wildlife sanctuary, the permission of National Board for Wildlife is required. So this is, we can say that correct. Then it is the nodal body in the country to allow or disallow infrastructure creation within any national park. This is also correct. So only 3 is the correct answer here. Second statement is incorrect. Okay, C is the correct answer. Regarding environmental regulations on noise pollution, again environmental law, rules, regulations, noise pollution, EPA 1986 empowers the state government to make rules and regulation. This is incorrect. It empowers the central government. Okay, EPA empowers the central government to make rules and regulations concerning noise pollution. There are no standards, guidelines for regulation of noise pollution at international level. ऐसा तो नहीं होगा ना, of course. WHO has the standard guidelines. Also, European Union has its own noise pollution guidelines. ठीक है, तो this is incorrect. First one is correct. We can say that. Sorry, first one is also incorrect. Pardon me. Both statements are incorrect. So neither one nor 2 is the answer. ठीक है, D is the correct answer. Now, which of the following statements regarding carbon markets is incorrect? यहाँ पे देखिए क्या पूछा गया है. Incorrect बोला गया है. Carbon markets. The first attempt to establish the global scale carbon market data or dates to the Rio Earth Summit 1992. This is incorrect. Rather, the global scale carbon market was created through this CDM, a carbon market established under Kyoto Protocol 1997. COP3 of UNFCCC. Okay, Kyoto Protocol 1997. This is, we can say that incorrect, and we got the answer here itself. Incorrect ही पूछा हुआ है, तो A is the correct answer. ठीक है. European Union created the world's first emission trading system. This is correct. The price of carbon traded in carbon markets is determined by the market forces of demand supply. This is correct. This is correct. This is incorrect. So A is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. All right. What about this one? NCRT. Okay, daughter plant growing on the other plant. Amensalism. So this is incorrect, right? Amensalism and commensalism, wherein we can say one species is becoming neutral while the other species is benefiting or let's say losing something, we can say that, are getting harm. तो ये daughter plant जैसे कि वो cascata plant जो होता है, it has lost basically the green pigments to, let's say, have the photosynthesis, and that's why for nutrition it is dependent on the host plant, and that's why such interaction, biotic interaction, it is called as parasitism. Parasitic plant होता है cascata. So this is incorrect. Interaction of wasp with the fig fruit, commensalism बोला गया है. This is incorrect again. Rather, this is mutualism. Why? Because both are getting benefited from this. Wasp and fig fruit. Wasp, it is basically taking, let's say, nutrition from it, and then it is helping fig fruit to spread its, we can say that, seeds and all. तो म्यूचुअलिज्म है सेकंड वाला, तो दोनों इनकरेक्ट है, राइट. करेक्टली मैच पूछा हुआ है, तो आंसर इज डी इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ऑल राइट. 92. The promotion of seaweeds as a livestock dietary supplements can drastically reduce the methane emissions. Now this is the new study. This is good thing. Seaweeds are, let's say, prominent sources of nutrition, as well as we can say that, let's say, they are helpful in carbon sequestration in oceans, seaweeds, and they can be used for, let's say, reducing the methane emissions from the livestock. How? Seaweeds have been found to reduce the enteric fermentation efficiency in ruminants. Rather, ये reduce नहीं है, ये enhance है. ये enhance कर रहा है efficiency, and that's why the overall methane emissions that are, let's say, from livestock, it can be reduced. तो ये जो है second statement incorrect है, first is correct. So answer is C here. Answer is C. Remember this, it increases the efficiency, not reduce. Okay, initiative called Net Zero Tracker. Okay, this initiative is by different research organizations, collaboration of 4 research organizations. नाम याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, but it is not by any particular international convention. ये incorrect है. Now, it is a global initiative focused on assessing the scale and quality of net zero UNFCCC member countries only. Net zero targets, ठीक है? This is incorrect. Only नहीं है. Rather, it, let's say, assesses the countries along with, we can say that, the cities, or we can say that the private companies also. Private companies also. ठीक है? तो climate action tracker जो है वो अलग है, and net zero tracker is different one. So this is incorrect. This is incorrect. It uses the same criteria to assess the robustness of net zero targets of countries that is used for their inclusion in Race to Zero campaign. Race to Zero campaign is by UNFCCC. It is under UNFCCC, and the criteria that is used for net zero targets for the country, it is the same criteria that net zero tracker is using. This is correct, and that's why 3 only is the correct answer. 3 only is the correct answer. All right. With reference to 2024 rules governing certificate of Ecomark in India, current affairs, current development, Ecomark. This tag, the application for grant of Ecomark must be made with Bureau of Indian Standard. Now this was earlier, this is incorrect. Now CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, is the body for which, let's say, it provides the grant. ठीक है, तो application CPCB को करना है. Scheme has been introduced for various products including let's say food items. तो ये generally correct होता है ऐसे जब statement देते हैं तो. Ecomark certification will be valid for only 1 year. Use the logic, no. एक साल में, of course, उनको renew करना है तो 1 साल क्यों रखेंगे वो? So rather it is 3 years. It will be valid for 3 years, and it will be, let's say, eligible for renewable also. This is incorrect. So this one is correct, and first, so only one statement is correct here. Only one statement is correct. Okay, A is the correct answer. The last question, very unique, and we can say that important. The fuel obtained from the plastic waste is called green fuel. That is true. Why? Because there is the plastic waste, no, waste to energy we are talking. So it is a green fuel. Okay. Now, although this green fuel has high octane rating, the presence of lead remains a concern. Now you should know that the plastic waste, it is processed, when it is processed, it is having high octane number, and it is having 0 lead content. यहाँ पे लिखे presence of lead लिखा हुआ है, तो this is incorrect, but first one is correct, and that's why 1 only is the correct answer here. All right, so these are the environment related questions. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment box of this video, and in general you can ask for mentoring session also. Fine, the other faculties will discuss the remaining subjects. Okay, thank you.
So welcome to the discussion of the current affairs section of the AIPMT one, which was conducted recently. So we'll see the question one by one as to and the explanation to it. So classical, rapid and blitz are versions of chess. So this was in news, chess, all because India has won gold medal gold medal in chess Olympiad, and both male and female category, both the male and female category. So that is why this particular question is in news, and this Olympiad is conducted by the world chess body which is known as FIDE, and this is for the first time India has won the gold medal in both the categories, and D. Kukesh was the spearheading the men's team. The 62nd question says, with reference to Vaikom Satyagraha, a temple entry movement, consider the following statements. It was a reformist movement against the practice of untouchability. This is correct. So this was in Travancore in Kerala. So this movement started in Travancore, which was started by T.K. Madhavan, and he was from Ezhava community. So Ezhavan community was more, you can say, depressed community. They were not allowed to perform all those puja and rituals in one of the temples in Travancore. So he started the movement. It was more like a satyagraha which was based on non-violent principles of Gandhiji. Gandhiji wanted to make the movement an all India affair. No, Gandhiji did not want to make it an all India affair because he knew that if अगर इसको ऑल इंडिया अफेयर बना दिया जाएगा, that would lead to infighting between different castes of India, and that would fuel even more powers to Britain to again implement their divide and rule policy. So he wanted to limit it more like a localized affair, more to Kerala itself. The movement was led by T.K. Madhavan, this is correct, against the dominant Ezhava community. No, they were the only community that they were discriminated from being given the rights to perform all the rituals in one of the temples there. So he was the member of Ezhava community, not against Ezhava community. So this is incorrect. It was a non-violent protest which was supported by the INC. This is correct also. So first and fourth is correct. So A would be the correct answer. Consider the following statements. The Indian Antarctic Act 2022 was passed by the Indian Parliament to give effect to the Antarctic Treaty. This is correct. Antarctic Treaty is aimed at preserving the pristine nature. They do not want to have too much of human intervention, human activity in Antarctica, because that would kill the natural thing, and it may have even more effects. You can say a butterfly effect, and they may have even more wider ramification for whole of the world. So that is why they have brought in this Antarctic Treaty. Himadri Antarctic Act was passed by Indian Parliament to effect this treaty, to give effect to the treaty. Himadri is one of the research centers of India in Antarctica. This is incorrect. It is Maitri and Bharati. Maitri and Bharati, that is the particular center, not Himadri. Himadri is in Arctic Circle. That is in Northern Hemisphere. Recently, India hosted the 46th Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting. This is correct. So, out of the three statements, two are correct. B would be the correct answer. The 64th question says, the report titled Space, the 1.8 trillion USD opportunity for global economic growth recently has been released by which of the following institutions? It is World Economic Forum. So World Economic Forum says that the current market size of space economy is currently around about $600 billion, and it is projected to rise by more than 3 times to 1.8 trillion USD by 2035. So in the next 11 years, it will zoom, all because the developments which are taking place in the space sector, privatization, more GIS based and satellites getting launched. 65th question related to Longevity India Initiative. So obviously Longevity India Initiative, the first statement is obviously correct because it efforts to extend human health span and tackle age related challenges. It basically says that the initiative is aimed at enhancing the quality of human life. Although lifespan has to be increased, but at the same time the quality which is being experienced by those in the older age, that should also increase. It has been launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. This is incorrect. It has been launched by the Indian Institute of Science, which is under Ministry of Education. So first is correct only, A is the correct answer. 66th question says, with reference to the annual survey of unincorporated, that is means it is for informal sector. Sector enterprises, consider the following statements. It is conducted by Ministry of MSME, this is incorrect. Largely, most of the surveys in India is conducted by National Statistical Office, which works under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, that is the dedicated wing of the government of India. It excludes enterprises from the agricultural sector, this is correct. Basically, it looks into all those enterprises which are non-farm in nature. So most of the economic activities which are captured by the informal sector under this particular survey is related to non-farm activity, farming activity को exclude करके चलता है. So second is correct only, B is the correct answer. 67th question. So again, classical languages. So this was recently in news all because 5 new languages have been added to the list of classical languages. Classical languages are those languages which have ancient history. They have ancient history, they have ancient proven texts which are original, they have ancient grammar, ancient base, body of knowledge, literature होगा जिस कारण से that is granted to some of the languages. Earlier it was only 5 languages, now 5 more additions have been done. So out of the lists given, only Maithili is not one of the classical languages also. So Pali, Marathi, Kannada, Malayalam and Odia, that is classical. These were earlier, and Pali, Marathi, Bengali, Assami, and there's one more language which has been added. So these are the total list. So Maithili is not there. So out of 6, 5 are there. C would be the correct answer. 68th question, Asmita project aims, so the A is the correct answer, it aims to develop 1000 books in each of the 22 scheduled languages. So all those languages which are there in the Constitution of India. So what the aim of this project is to create a body or resource for different books to be translated into these languages. अभी हमारा maximum books क्या होता है, हिंदी या English. English is the major language. अब law पढ़ना है, if you want to read engineering or if you want to read core things, and you are not well accustomed to English and you are knowing those regional languages, you need those resources also. Books भी तो चाहिए हमेशा, you need those books only. So University Grants Commission, UGC, has spearheaded this movement or this mission or project to ensure that some of the books, basically 1000 books, are to be translated into regional languages. So technically 22,000 books would be there, 22 languages into 1000 books. A is the correct answer. 69th question, it is a random question. So this year's prelims question we have seen a random question where the ranks of different defense forces, the Indian Air Force, Indian Navy and Indian Army were there, and we needed to know as to which are correctly matched rows. So based on this, a new question, a new type of one that is more like an SSC, but still you need to know some of the random questions also. So here we have railway zones and headquarters, and we need to know whether they are correctly matched or not. Central Railway, this is correctly matched, that is Mumbai. Western Railway, that is not Ahmedabad, this is incorrect, this is also Mumbai. This is also Mumbai. So Mumbai is headquartered, there is 2 famous stations in Mumbai, Bombay Central and CST, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus. So both are different, catering to different, both are basically headquarters of different regions or different zones. So Mumbai Central Railways, it is Bombay Central, which is the headquarter, and Western Railway, this is the, I guess, Chhatrapati Shivaji, or other way around. You do not need to go deep into these things. Now Northeast Railway, Gorakhpur, this is correct. There is another Northeast Frontier Railway, that is more catering to Northeast region. This is Northeast Railway. So railway zones are not like what we classify India's Northeast, North-South. It is based on something different depending upon how they have classified their zones. So Northeast, it is Gorakhpur, this is correct. Northeast Frontier Railway, which is more headquartered at Guwahati, that caters to Northeast region. Northern Railway, we know this is Delhi, New Delhi. So out of the pairs, only second is incorrect. So C would be the correct answer. 75th question. So there was G7 summit also. Italy hosted it. So out of this, how many of which of this particular countries mentioned in which of the particular group are members of G7? It is Italy, France, Japan, Canada. This is correct. Here if we see, Australia is not one of them. If we see, South Korea is not one of them, and if we see other, this Australia is again not of them. So out of other 4 there are 7. So that is UK, USA, Germany, and apart from that Italy, France, Japan and Canada. So these are members of G7. So C would be the correct answer. So 96th question, it says, with reference to the Chabahar port, consider the following statements. It is located on the Persian Gulf. This itself is correct. It is incorrect. It is Gulf of Oman. And Gulf of Oman is southeastern part, not the western part. If you see the map, it is southeast of Iran and Chabahar port is southeastern part. So this is incorrect. Recently India and Iran have signed a 10-year agreement to operate a terminus or terminal at Chabahar port. This is correct. So C would be, B would be the correct answer, as second statement is correct. 97th question says, Project Nexus. So this was in news. RBI has joined this. So basically cross-border payments, if you want to pay to different parties which are separated by geographies, the payment should be faster. It is a concept. It is conceptualized by SWIFT. No, it is conceptualized by Bank of International Settlement. All those transactions, cross-border transactions which are happening is routed through Bank of International Settlement. It aims to enhance cross-border payments by integrating domestic instant payment system like instant payment system is IMPS. In India, it is IMPS. So integrating the faster payment in instant payment systems of different countries is the goal, so as to make sure कि payments हमारा cross border faster and smoother हो. The Reserve Bank of India has recently joined the project. This is correct. Apart from that, other countries are Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia and Philippines. These are the other countries. So India has joined as a part of Project Nexus. So this is correct also. First is incorrect, second and third are correct. Only 2, B would be the correct answer. 98th question is regarding the Global India AI Summit. It was organized by Ministry of Science and Technology of the Government of India. No, it was Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MITI. Platformization and standardization of AI data were among the core focuses of the summit. This is correct. They want to make sure that AI governance, just like global partnership on AI, India AI Summit ensures कि हमारे AI का ना एक framework हो, एक specific terminologies हो, specific framework हो, specific protocols हो, so as to make sure कि जो interoperability हो एक AI और दूसरे AI के बीच में जो integration, that is more smooth. कोई large language model if India is developing, if say OpenAI has this chat GPT, the integration should be quite smooth. नहीं तो बहुत problem होगी, that would be not so good for the mankind. That is the idea behind this development. So B is the correct answer. 99th question talks about, consider the following statements about the wrinkles अच्छे हैं. जैसे दाग अच्छे हैं, सर्फ एक्सेल का एक ऐड था, इसी तरह से wrinkles अच्छे हैं. Although you will feel कि wrinkles अच्छे हैं is more related to wrinkles on skin, but that is not related to it. Rather, it is more related to wearing of non-pressed clothes. So there is one Council of Scientific and Industrial Relations, Industrial Research, CSIR. So this was a part of Swachh Pakhwara, where a fortnight is, we can say, as a part of Swachhata Divas. It is said that this particular mission or this initiative aimed at that all the employees of CSIR would wear a clothes which would be non-pressed. क्योंकि press या iron जब करते हैं, that uses electricity consumption and that in a way make क्या होता है हमारा climate पर उसका toll होता है. It has certain burden on climate. So to make sure that our acts itself, small acts are also climate conducive, this was a kind of token gesture or token initiative. It was an initiative to minimize the use of anti-aging beauty products. This is incorrect. Rather, wearing of non-pressed clothes on every Monday for 15 days. This was, or I guess 3 months. The initiative aimed at reducing the use of extensive use of microplastics in cosmetic manufacturing. Obviously, this is not related to it. It was just like a way to have small, you can say, adjustment in our lives to have our, we can say, carbon neutral friendly steps. It was launched by CSIR in India. This is correct. So only one statement is correct, that is 3 only. C is the correct answer. And the last question, which was asked in the paper and also from the current affair part also, which of the following statements about the exercise Nomadic Elephant 2024 are correct? It was a joint military exercise between India and Mongolia. This is correct. Nomadic Elephant is a joint military exercise between India and Mongolia. It took place in Umroi, Meghalaya. This is also correct. It is a place in Meghalaya, near Meghalaya, small village. Showcase of cutting edge weapons and equipment was one of the features of this operations. This is also correct. D is the correct answer. India wanted to show its, you can say, defense prowess and as to how India is actually developing itself into reliable defense partner by increasing its domestic manufacturing capability of defense. So this was one of the, you can say, exercise where this was showcased by India. So this was all about the all the questions related to current affairs. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the discussion of AIPMT1 economy section. So in this particular test, we will discuss the questions which had been asked in this particular test. Okay. So the first question talks about, the 31st question in the paper is, which one of the following is the objective of the recently launched Anna Darpan project? So Anna Darpan project has been launched by Food Corporation of India. When it comes to Food Corporation of India, we always know that it is more related to the public distribution system of food grains, or we can say the forward linkage of the supply chain management of food grains. So the answer, the correct answer would be to revolutionize food supply chain management. Basically, Food Corporation of India or FCI wants to add data analytics and big data science. Apart from that, also AI tools, so as to streamline the whole supply nodes in the supply chain management of food grains. So B would be the correct answer. The next question is the 32nd question. It talks about which of the following statements are correct with reference to insider trading. So insider trading basically is one of the, you can say, a way wherein the people who are working inside, people who are employees of the company, they want, basically what they do, they have certain, you can say, information which are not available in the public domain, and when based on those information, if they try to trade in their own company's share, they stand to gain a higher profit as compared to those who are in the public or the retail investors. So basically they try to leverage all those information which are not there in the public domain. Insider trading refers to the buying or selling of a company's securities by individuals who have access to non-public, basically it is non-public material information about the company. This is correct. Penalties for insider trading are limited to the forfeiture of illegally gained profits. This is incorrect. Not just the gained profit that would be seized by the SEBI. Apart from that, they will be also be penalized with certain fines. So that is incorrect. SEBI has broadened the definition of relatives under the Prohibition of Insider Trading Regulations of 2015, replacing immediate relatives with relatives. Basically, they have broadened the definition as to what could be considered as relatives. Earlier, it was all related to the blood relation, or you can say next to the kith and kins, or you can say all those connected people of the person who was indulged in insider trading. But now the spouses of the person who is found to be indulged in this insider trading is also included. So spouses, relatives, all those in-laws, they are also being considered under this ambit. So this becomes a correct statement. So first and 3 is correct. B would be the correct answer for this particular question. 33rd question talks about statement 1 says maintaining full capital account convertibility can increase the vulnerability to global financial risk. This is correct because when the capital can be freely converted from one currency to another, it may increase the currency risk. What would happen that the investors may try to pull out money in any quantum. तो इससे क्या होगा कि कितना भी पैसा वो लेना चाहे वो सब बाहर निकाल सकते हैं और ग्लोबल एक्सपोजर के लिए वो वल्नरेबल हो जाएगी दैट पर्टिकुलर कंट्री विच चूजेस द फुल कैपिटल अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी. सो फर्स्ट इज करेक्ट. Second says full capital account convertibility allows for unrestricted movement of capital into and out of the country. This is also correct. But there is no link. First statement is talking about why it increases vulnerability because of currency risk, global exposure. That could have been the statement, the correct explanation for statement 1. But second is only defining the capital account convertibility or full capital account convertibility. So B would be the correct answer rather than A. There is no cause and effect relation which can be established directly. Thirty-fourth question is consider the following statement. Statement 1 says a withdrawal from demand deposits. Demand deposit basically from bank savings account by a person can cause an immediate decrease in aggregate money supply. Aggregate money supply means we are talking about M1, M2, M3, M4 all taken together. So basically it does not change the aggregate money supply, rather it changes the composition of it. Basically when you are drawing money from your savings account, you are just converting the digital form of money into currency, but aggregate money supply does not change in, you can say, real sense. So this becomes an incorrect statement. And when in this type of question, when first statement becomes incorrect, D would be the correct answer because first is incorrect and second is correct. That is the only option that is with us. Still we'll see the second statement. Aggregate money supply consists of currency in circulation and demand deposit. This is correct. Basically form change हो रहा है. हमने currency deposit money को या digital money को हमने currency में change कर लिया, but total जो aggregate money supply does not change because it is inclusive, it is implicit within these things. So first statement is incorrect, second is correct. D would be the correct answer. Okay, you got it? Thirty-fifth question says, in an import dependence, basically more import, we are talking about more import than export. If there is an increased pressure on domestic currency to depreciate, basically the prices is moving from say rupees 80 per USD towards say rupees 85 per USD. So what would happen or what measures can be adopted by the government or the central bank? Basically we are talking both the fiscal measures as well as the monetary measures. We are talking how can we arrest this problem? So lowering the interest rate. This could be done by say RBI, the central bank, but this would be counterproductive because what would happen if you lower the interest rate? If the RBI lowers the interest rate differential between India and say vis-a-vis if you talk about the foreign country or you say United States, if this differential goes down, जैसे India में अभी 8% interest rate है for example, US में 4% interest rate है, there's a difference of 4% now. So foreign investors find it attractive to invest in Indian market. Why? Because they feel that they stand to gain higher if they invest in India. उनको extra 4% मिल रहा है. But suppose कि वो 8% से अब 6% हो गया या 5% हो गया. Now the difference is 4% US का और 5% India का, वो 1% ही रहा. And if you calculate for the thing, तो बहुत से ऐसे इन्वेस्टर हैं, they'll feel that now India is not attractive, they'll pull out money from India, and when they pull out money, they'll pull out dollars from Indian market, and when Indian market gets lower dollar, or dollar is pumped out of Indian economy, the rupee would further depreciate. Further वो depreciate करेगा क्योंकि demand US dollar का ज़्यादा चला गया ना कि Indian rupee का. So this would be counterproductive. Introducing quotas on imports, this is correct because you want to lower the import. If you want to lower the import, then the import cost would go down and demand for dollar would go down. Basically हमें demand dollar का demand को कम करना है या dollar की supply को बढ़ाना है. यही दो चीज हो सकता है. Then only we can make sure कि our currency depreciation is, you can say, nullified or it is arrested to a larger extent. Tax breaks to exporters, this is correct because when you give subsidies to exporters से कि अगर पहले 10% उस पर उनके प्रोडक्ट पे 10% टैक्स लगता था, the government says that now they'll only put in 3%. तो जो extra 7% टैक्स जो कम किया, that is known as tax break. That would make India's goods more competitive in the international market and the demand for India's goods would increase, और exports जब increase करेगा, that would bring in more US dollar. इंडिया में ज़्यादा US dollars आएंगे और इससे क्या होगा हमारा, basically you'll find that if there is more dollar coming into India, that would lead to lower depreciation or you can say appreciation of Indian currency. So second and third would be correct only measures. First is counterproductive. Thirty-sixth, it's a factual question based on the Monetary Policy Committee. The committee consists of 6 members, this is correct. 3 of whom are appointed by the government of India, this is correct. 3 is from the RBI side, including the RBI governor, and 3 from appointments by the government of India. It determines the policy interest rate required to achieve the inflation target. Current target is 4 plus minus 2% for the consumer price based or consumer price index based inflation, CPI based inflation, this is also correct. Its decisions are binding on the Reserve Bank of India, this is also correct because there is a, you can say, inflation targeting framework which has been signed or agreed between the Reserve Bank of India and the central government, and whatsoever policy which is recommended by the Monetary Policy Committee has to be, you can say, implemented by Reserve Bank of India through their various tools which they use, the various quantitative and qualitative tools. The the RBI governor has the power to veto the decisions of the committee. This is incorrect. What happens that there are 6 members. So RBI governor does not have any veto, rather it has a casting vote. What is this casting vote? Suppose on any decision there is 3-3 tie. 3 members are saying okay we are supporting rate cut and 3 members are opposing rate cut. Then RBI governor would have another instance to vote to favor at whatsoever he or she feels fit. So it means the RBI governor can vote 2 times. The second time is only applicable if there is tie between the members. So that is not kind of a veto. Veto is something that you outrightly reject it. Suppose there is 4-2 in favor of some decision, in favor of rate cut. Then RBI governor cannot have any casting vote. But had RBI governor this veto power, इसको भी वो बोलते कि we are not, if RBI governor is 2 वाले part का पा रहा था, तो RBI governor बोलता no, since I have veto, I am not allowing this particular decision to proceed further. Rather he has or she has 3-3, or you can say if there is any, you can say tie between the decisions of different members, then only on the second instance he or she can vote. So the 4th statement becomes incorrect. So first is correct, second is correct, third is correct, C is the correct answer. (37) Simple question. Demographic dividend of a country is calculated in terms of comparing the proportion of country's working age population, that is 15 to 64 years of age, and non-working population. Basically, if there is higher proportion of working age population, the country is said to be experiencing, or it is actually considered to be have entered in a demographic dividend phase, wherein there would be more income generation or more value addition in the economy rather than mere consumption. जो productive part of economy कौन सा हो सकता है, जो working age population है, they will try to produce goods and services that would increase GDP. But those who are not actively producing goods and services, who are not actively engaged in economic activity, they are merely consuming, and they are not considered as a part of productive part of population, rather they are dependent population. So C is the correct answer. Thirty-eighth question is, which one of the following statements best describes the word skimpflation? So there was one term, shrinkflation. This is more or less related like this, but there's certain difference. It is a form of inflation where the businesses reduce the quality of goods and services while keeping the prices the same. Suppose you went to a restaurant where the prices of fried rice was ₹100 per plate. But you found out that in that particular fried rice they used paneer and there are different things which are of higher quality. But because of higher prices of those ingredients which are being used, now you feel that they have maintained the same price, but they have removed paneer, they have removed many of the things which earlier added the quality of the dish. So this type of, we can say, a practice which is adopted by the business is known as skimpflation. Similar thing is shrinkflation, जहाँ पे वो goods का quantity घटा देते हैं. जैसे suppose the Maggi in our days used to come for 100 grams they used to charge ₹10. फिर वो धीरे धीरे 10 रुपए मेंटेन किया and वो 90 ग्राम हुआ, then 80 ग्राम, then 70 ग्राम. So what they did, they reduced the size. This is known as shrinkflation. Skimpflation is more related to quality. So whatsoever quality you were getting earlier, you are not experiencing the same level of quality by consuming the goods and services. Thirty-ninth question says, which one of the following statements best describes the term green swan? So green swan is a kind of thing which has been borrowed from a black swan event. You must have heard a term black swan. Black swan एक ऐसा event के लिए बोलते हैं where those events which cannot be predicted and those events can have wider ramifications on the economy, or you can say on any social fabric like war, like pandemic. This type of event is known as black swan event, as we have seen that pandemic led to economic collapse and disruption of global supply chain. Similarly, green swan is an event. It refers to an unpredictable catastrophic climate related event with severe economic consequences. For example, if there is sea level rise, what would happen? That would be considered as green swan event, because most of the developed cities are along the banks of, on the coastal regions. And when the sea level would rise, many of those cities which are drivers of global GDP, they would submerge and they will be required to move away. तो हमें नया सिटी डेवलप करना पड़ेगा. So sea level rise is a kind of green swan event because it may lead to disruption of global output or global economic outputs. The same thing. So the 40th question is, consider the following statements about P notes. So this has been in news because this is a way where those investors which are not registered, those foreign investors who are not registered with SEBI, they are also allowed in an indirect way to invest in Indian market, be it the bond market or the equity market. They allowed non-registered investors to invest in Indian market. This is correct. So what happens that suppose there is an FII, foreign institutional investor, who is registered with SEBI. So he or that particular institution would invest in Indian equity, and in return they will issue a P note, and that P note can be bought by any foreign investor who are not registered. Suppose कि US individual ने एक BlackRock करके कंपनी ने इन्वेस्ट किया इंडिया में, and they issued P note, और एक US investor ने बाई कर लिया वो BlackRock का investment in India. That particular note is known as participatory note, because that US investor जो individual था, he is not registered with SEBI, he is not allowed to directly buy shares in Indian market. They are specifically designed for short-term investments only? No, they are also allowed for long-term investments. Suppose they want to hold the shares, then they can also hold in terms of P note. There is no condition कि short-term या एक साल के अंदर उनको liquidate करना ही होगा. So first is the correct answer. 86th question is, consider the following statements. Mauritius is the largest source of foreign direct investment in India. This is incorrect. Earlier it used to be, but now it is Singapore. It is Singapore. There is no capital gains tax on investment originating from Mauritius. Again, it used to be, but there was an amendment in 2017, the double tax avoidance agreement. There are two, there is an agreement that is known as double tax avoidance agreement. It is known as DTAA. Suppose there is two countries, A and B. This is India and this is Mauritius. So what would happen that if an investment has been made by a particular resident of country B, the country B resident is here and he has invested in the market of country A, then he is allowed to get taxed in whatsoever is the jurisdiction of that particular resident. वो resident जहाँ रह रहा होगा उसके tax jurisdiction के हिसाब से उसको tax लगेगा. He is not actually compelled to pay tax here also and here also, क्योंकि double taxation avoidance agreement has been signed between the two countries. So इससे क्या होता था, if country B is tax haven, if this country is tax haven जहाँ पे tax rates बहुत कम होंगे या zero हो सकते हैं, then what would happen, the resident would place his economic interest in this particular country और वहाँ से invest करेगा इंडिया में, and he would not be required to pay the taxes because the country where he is residing is a tax haven that charges a very nominal capital gains tax. But 2017 में there has been an amendment where it has been specifically mentioned that if any investment that comes from Mauritius post 2017, if the investment comes from Mauritius, that is only, you can say, concentrated to gain from this DTAA, then India has the power to tax the capital gains. अगर मान लो इंडिया ने कोई पर्टिकुलर कोई बाहर के इन्वेस्टर ने इंडिया में इन्वेस्ट किया, बट द मोटिव ऑफ इन्वेस्टिंग इन इंडिया फ्रॉम मॉरिशस वाज ओनली टू गेन फ्रॉम दिस टैक्स हैवन स्टेटस ऑफ मॉरिशस, then India has all the authority to tax that particular investment. So this was allowed, and this was the amendment to the, you can say, preamble of the DTAA between India and Mauritius. So there is a capital gain tax on the investment originating from Mauritius post 2017. So this becomes again incorrect. So D, both the statements are incorrect. D would be the correct answer. '87th question. So consider the statement about state developmental loans. So state development loans are similar to the government securities which are issued by the central government. There are certain differences to it. They are dated security issued through normal auction conducted by the Reserve Bank of India. Actually this is correct. Like RBI conducts all those normal auction for government securities for the government of India, likewise for different states they are conducted in the name of state developmental loans or SDL. SDLs are used by state government to finance their fiscal deficits, this is correct, or even the CAPEX, long-term developmental projects, this is also correct, likewise government securities. The interest rate on SDLs are generally higher. Why is it so? Because the sovereign power lies with the government of India. All those securities which are issued by government of India has the least risk. And if you have lower risk on any security, the return would be lower. There is a perceptible higher risk as compared to government securities on state developmental loans. State development loans are issued by respective state governments, लेकिन they are not sovereigns. वो sovereign is government of India. और इसी कारण से there is a little bit of higher risk involved, so they need to issue at a higher interest rate rather than lower interest rate. This is incorrect. SDL also qualifies for SLR quota, so this is also correct. Bank needs to deposit 18% of their, you can say, net demand and time liability, जितना भी deposits हो रहा है उसका 18% needs to be parked in government approved securities, and within those government approved securities, one is SDL. So first, second and fourth are correct. C would be the correct answer. '88th question is, how many of the above are included under the weaker section category? Self-help group is there, distressed farmers in debt to non-institutional lenders are there, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes are there, small and marginal farmers are there. There is no mentioning of street vendors as per the list of Reserve Bank of India who are considered as a part of priority sector lending. So first, third, fourth, 5. So out of 5, 4 is correct. So C would be the correct answer. The second last question which was asked in the test was, consider the following statements about TRIPS plus rules. So they are higher level rules or higher level of protection norms for intellectual property or IP prescribed by the WTO regime. This is incorrect. So WTO prescribes TRIPS, trade related aspect of intellectual property rights, TRIPS. So in this, if there is a particular intellectual property, या कोई patent है और that is to be introduced, एक patented product has to be introduced in a developing economy, then the same thing cannot be copied, or infringement, IPR rights को infringement is not allowed under TRIPS, which is WTO. But TRIPS plus is an over and above, even more stringent, you can say, IPR related framework which has been prescribed by developed countries, that goes over and above which is being prescribed by WTO. WTO से भी ज़्यादा stringent norms को बोलते हैं follow करने की, then only they'll be actually saying that okay, our products can be introduced in developing country. And this is not WTO mandated, rather this is mandated by a group of countries which are largely developed. So this is incorrect. Developing countries are against these rules as they can lead to higher prices of medicines. This is correct, because what happens that any medicine requires years of research, and when they get the medicine having the, you can say, prescribed efficacy, they go for the IPR protection in terms of patents. अब वो मेडिसिन जब इंडिया में या किसी डेवलपिंग या इवन लीस्ट डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में इंट्रोड्यूस होगा, दे विल चार्ज देम हायर. And why? Because they cannot be copied, because they are getting certain patent protection. So what they are saying कि अगर TRIPS plus policy अगर maintain किया जाएगा, then developing country would be actually be forced to shell out even higher amount as royalties to use the patents. So this is against the ethos of WTO. So first is incorrect, second is correct, B would be the correct answer. The last question is 90th. For the economy section, this is consider the following statements about the central issue price. The central issue price क्या होता है? When food grains are allocated, first food grain is procured by the Food Corporation of India from farmers at MSP, the minimum support price. Then the grains are stored and then it is allocated to states. और फिर वहाँ से state से respective state government transfers it to the fair price shops or the ration shops. So it is the price at which the central government issues food grains to state governments and union territories. This is correct, and this is done by Food Corporation of India. तो जिस price पे state governments को मिलता है grains, that is known as central issue price. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare fixes this CIP of wheat and rice. This is incorrect. Any distribution, procurement, storage, distribution is Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. This is the ministry that fixes it. It varies from state to state. This is also incorrect. It is constant for all the state. Irrespective of the state or the geography, the price would be same. It is set below the economic cost incurred by the central government. Obviously, this is correct. The cost of holding and transportation, all those economic cost, which is, you can say, which is to be borne, which is to be borne by the government. Has to be borne by the central government. अब 10 रुपए का अनाज है, उसको होल्ड करने मान लो 15 रुपए लग रहा है. The central government cannot charge 15 rupees as the central issue price. That would be generally lower than the economic cost which is borne by the central government. That is why it is subsidized food grains. So first and fourth are correct. D would be the answer. So this particular test had mix of all the conceptual related question. Apart from that, there were certain factual questions also. So overall, the paper was attemptable as far as the economy section is concerned. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Now let us begin the discussion for the polity questions in AIPMT paper 1 for prelims 2025, right? I believe that most of you have attempted the questions and they were pretty simple in nature, and we tried to inculcate the questions from the various aspects, from the basics as well as contemporary things related to the polity, and let us discuss the questions one by one. The first question for polity in the question paper is question number 11. Let us see the question number 11. In the context of fiscal federalism in India, consider the following statements. First, taxes levied and collected by the union and distributed between the union and the states are based on the recommendation of Finance Commission. Yes, this statement is correct. We all know that Finance Commission is constituted under the Article 270 of the Constitution of India. And it actually, we have seen in detail how the Finance Commission is, the role of Finance Commission in maintaining the fiscal balance, both vertical and horizontal. Right. So even the taxes levied by the center, by the union, collected by the union and distributed between the union and the states is also decided by the Finance Commission of India, right? Second statement, the Constitution of India empowers the union government to borrow money either within or outside the country, while a state government can borrow within India only. This statement is also correct. According to the Article 292 and 293 of the Constitution of India. It mentions that the union government, the central government is allowed to borrow money from within the India, from the financial institutions and from outside the country also. But the state governments are allowed to borrow money only within the India, right? So this was the right answer for this question is both statement 1 and 2 are correct. The right answer is option C. Let us see the next question. Consider the following. So the question is about the functions performed by the National Human Rights Commission. Let us see the statements one by one. To inquire only suo moto or on a petition presented by a victim. This statement is incorrect. So there are three ways in which we can present a petition, and even the NHRC can inquire into all the three ways, right? Second, intervene in any proceeding of human rights violation pending before a court with the approval of the court. So do we need the approval of the court to inquire into the human rights violations, or do we if we rephrase the statement, do we need the approval of the court for NHRC to inquire into the human rights violations? Yes. If there is any petition which is pending before the court, only with the approval of the court, the NHRC can inquire into those petitions or intervene in the ongoing cases, right? Third statement. Spread human rights literacy among various sections of the society. Yes, NHRC also tries to spread information. They have come up with different advertisements and they conduct the workshops in the far off places, in villages, in schools where kids and even the adults can avail those workshops and mock drills which are basically made and done to spread the information about the human rights and their violations. Fourth statement, review of constitutional safeguards and other laws for the protection of human rights. Yes, NHRC reviews these laws and they present the report, and on the basis of those reports, certain changes, amendments, corrections, improvements can be made in the laws, right? So only three statements, statement 2, 3 and 4 are correct. So the right answer for question number 12 would be option C, only 3 statements. How many of the above given are associated with the harmonious balance between the fundamental rights and DPSP? So harmonious balance, we know between fundamental rights and DPSPs is not from the very beginning of after the adoption and commencement of the Constitution of India, right? So there have been many challenges. There have been judgments by the Supreme Court which led to the harmonious balance. So can we say how many of these mentioned in the question were associated with that the evolution process of harmonious balance, right? Or what all were the elements which led to the harmonious balance. So one by one we will see. The first one is Keshwanand Bharti case. Yes, when we see that there was the 25th amendment which was brought to give effect to the provisions of Article 31C. It was enacted to introduce or to come up with Article 31C, and which was basically trying to exempt the provisions of Article 39B and C, even if they are in violation of Article 14 and 19 mentioned under the fundamental rights. So, in the Keshwanand Bharti case, the Supreme Court basically upheld the validity of Article 31C, but subjected it to the judicial review. So Keshwanand Bharti case is, yes, associated with the harmonious balance between the fundamental rights and DPSP. Now, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, it was enacted to what we can say expand the scope of Article 31C, which said that it can, what we say, that any law which is enacted to give effect to the DPSPs mentioned under Section 4, Part 4 of the Constitution of India, will be exempted from the judicial review. Not just only about the Article 39B and Article 39C. So, this 42nd amendment was again challenged in the Supreme Court. We all know that by Minerva Mills case, and Minerva Mills case held that this particular provision of 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act is unconstitutional, right? So, yes, Keshwanand Bharti, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act and Minerva Mills, all three are associated with the harmonious balance. Now, the last one is Vaman Rao. In the Vaman Rao case, the Supreme Court reiterated that any law giving effect to the what we say DPSPs under Article 39B and 39C won't be violative under Article 14 and 19. So all the four of these mentioned cases or amendment, one of them is the amendment, are associated with the evolution of the harmonious balance between the fundamental rights and DPSP, right? Let us see next question. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the concept of democracy? Democracy is solely a political system. Democracy is not just about a political system, rather it is more about the equality in participation, equality in voicing your opinions, having respect for the opinions of the others. That is what democracy is. It also calls we also understand that active participation, you will be actively participating only in the discussions where your views, opinions will matter, will be heard. So democracy is all about those things, the active participation, the equality, the freedom to voice your opinions, right? So why is this important? Yes, this is a natural right. This only will help you to ascertain your fundamental rights. Though there are reasonable restrictions, but democracy is not only about the political system. It is more than that. It is about voicing your opinions. It is about active participation. It is about being very respectful for the opinions of what the others hold, right? Now, second point, it guarantees economic prosperity. It is hard to say that democracy will lead to economic prosperity. The ideals, the ideas, the prospects that the democracy provides to every citizen will help to gain economic prosperity, though the economic prosperity also depends on other factors, be it the economic policies of the government of the day, or the historical factors, or the geographical location of a nation, the amount of natural resources that that particular geography might hold. So yes, economic prosperity will depend on other factors also. Democracy will help to be more prosperous economically, financially for a nation, but it does not guarantee the economic prosperity, right? The third, a majority rules all decisions. This majority is not talking about majority in a legislature. Rather, it is talking about the majority of the opinions what the most amount of the population is holding, right? Even if there is a majority of the opinion, still the decisions will be made on a consensus model. Still the decisions will be made after the discussions and deliberations among the stakeholders who will be affected, who are the elected representatives, who are not in favor of those decisions, who have a different opinion regarding those decisions. So all these things matter, not just about the majority opinion. So this statement is not correct. The last statement is emphasis on the importance of participation. This is what we have understood from all of the above statements, that the democracy is more about participation, equal participation, more about voicing your opinions and having respect and tolerance for the opinions of the others. So the last statement encapsulates the more refined idea of the democracy, right? So for question number 14, option D is the right answer, correct answer. Next. Right, so this is an assertion and reasoning kind of question. Let us see statement 1. The Indian Constitution empowers the state to make special provisions for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes. Yes, we all know that idea of affirmative actions, which are broadly understood as the idea of reservations for SC, ST, OBC and women according to provisions of Article 15(4), 16 Clause 4, and there are still reservations in the Panchayati Raj systems and urban local bodies, right? So yes, the Indian Constitution empowers the state to make special provisions for the advancement of socially and educationally backward classes. Yes, we do adhere to the concept of affirmative actions. Second statement is the state has a constitutional mandate to create a more equitable society. So why are we making these affirmative actions or the reservations for the backward classes? To make a more equitable society. What is a more equitable society? There is a equality in education, there is a equality, equal opportunity for the jobs, equal opportunity to come up with any entrepreneurial idea. So these are the things which make a more equitable society. And yeah, as far as this question is concerned, the statement 2 is the right explanation for the statement 1. So the answer would be A. Both statements 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the right explanation for statement 1. Consider the following statements in context of the Mediation Act 2023. Mediation is a binding process in which an impartial and neutral mediator facilitates disputing parties in reaching a mutually agreeable settlement. This statement seems correct, but this is not binding, rather this is voluntary. Right, the disputing parties, the parties who are in conflict with each other, can voluntarily get into the mediation process, right? So the process in itself is not binding. They can choose to be in a, to make use of the mediator, right? The Act provides the parties to settle civil or commercial disputes by mediation before approaching any court or certain tribunals. So yes, the Act in itself provides that the parties can approach the mediation even before approaching the court. The third statement, the Act contains a list of disputes which are not fit for mediation. And the list can only be modified by the central government. So we have three crucial aspects in the third statement, that it contains a list. What kind of list? A list where the dispute, which mentions the names of the disputes which cannot be mediated. And the third aspect is that particular list can only be modified by the central government. So all the three aspects of this particular statement are correct. Right. So these disputes can what we say can be criminal dispute in nature, criminal in nature, or can be of certain other kinds, right? So yes, the statement 2 and 3 are correct, and statement 1, the definition of the mediation process itself is incorrect, mentioned here. So the right answer for question number 16 would be option C, statement 2 and 3 only. Consider the following. How many of the above are the components of PM Janman scheme? So this was recently in news related to particularly vulnerable tribal groups, PVTGs, and the central government has come up with this PM Janman scheme, right? Which actually tries to improve the living conditions of the tribal groups living in the far off places, right? Now, but the important part is what all things are included in the scheme, that is skills training, health, nutrition, education, electricity and mobile network connectivity. So what all according to you could be the most probable things that the government would be willing to provide to help improve the conditions of PVTGs? So this is a current affairs question, but very factual in nature. UPSC has been asking such kind of questions in the recent past, very factual. Just in case you were not aware of this scheme, please go through it, read it, and all the three statements are correct in this particular question, and the right answer is all the three statements. Answer C. Right? Next. Consider the following provisions, and how many of the above are provided in the Representation of People Act 1950. Right, let us see. Lays down the process for the delimitation of the constituencies. Yes, this is section 8 of 1950. Provides for the allocation of seats in the House of the People. Is it 1950 or 1951? 1950. Third statement deals with the registration of political parties. We all know that registration of political parties is 1951. And the power is given to Election Commission of India. Right? Fourth statement lays down the process for the preparation of electoral rolls and lays down the qualification of voters. We all know that the qualification and disqualifications are in 1951, right? So option C and option 3 are the provisions of the RPA 1951, and rest all 4 provisions are mentioned in RPA 1950. Now that we have been telling all our students, like it is important to know the provisions of 1950 and 1951. There have been debates in certain sections of the society that in present times it is what we need. We need to remold, we need to reframe or amend, or we need to come up with newer versions of RPAs just to arrest the issues of corruption and social media campaigning and mobile campaigning and all those kind of things. So even if you don't get time to go through the whole RPAs, at least just you can manage to glance through the index of the RPAs. Most of the provisions related to qualification, disqualification, what would amount to the corruption in the electoral process, what are the by-election laws, and what are the campaigning laws, all these things. Just whenever you get time, just read through these, the index of RPA, the broader provisions of RPA. That will be very helpful. So yes, in this particular question, the right answer would be 4 options, only 4. The right answer is option B, only 4. Right. Next, consider the following statements in the context of the amending powers of the Indian Parliament. First, it can amend any part of the Constitution. This statement is correct. It can amend any provision without any restrictions. That is incorrect statement. They cannot amend any provision without distorting the basic structure. Right. Third statement, it cannot amend certain provisions without a special majority. So what are the provisions mentioned in the Constitution of India which require a special majority to be amended? Are there certain provisions? Right. So yes, there can be provisions, there are provisions related to the federal structure which require a special majority to be amended, right? And the last statement is, it cannot amend the fundamental rights. It can amend the fundamental rights as long as the basic structure of the Constitution is not distorted. So two statements are incorrect, statement 2 and 4, and two statements are correct, 1 and 3. So the right answer would be A, option 1 and 3 only. So there are provisions, and how many of the above are not the conditions of a democratic election? So what could be the conditions for a democratic election? Let us see, restricted to the major political parties. Can we say so? No. Many contestants are there. Even we have seen independent candidates, regional parties. So it is incorrect to say that the election process in a democratic election is restricted to the major political parties only. Free and fair competition, yes, we all know democratic elections, providing voters with more than one choice. That is what elections are meant for, to choose one among many, or at least to choose one among the two, right? And limited voter eligibility. So there can be certain, what we say, requirements to be an eligible voter, like the age, but it is not limited. Not limited depending on your financial or social status, caste, creed, gender, religion, region, color, whatsoever. There is no bar, but there can be certain requirements to be an eligible voter, like age, right? So as long as you are of a certain age, your right to vote is not limited. There can be certain legalistic aspects to it, like once you are incarcerated behind the bars, your right to vote can be restricted. Even when you are in service for the nation, concerned with the law and order situations, your rights can be restricted. But yes, now that they have come with the postal ballot systems also, but on a whole, we cannot say that there is a limited voter eligibility. So only two statements are correct. Statement option number 2 and option number 3. So the right option for question number 20 is only 2, option B. Right. Next. With reference to the panel of chairpersons for the Lok Sabha, consider the following statements. The Speaker nominates from amongst the members of the House Is it members of the House or members of the Parliament? Focus on the major aspect. It is members of the House, like the panel of chairpersons can only be from the Lok Sabha. So first statement is correct. One of the members from the panel of chairpersons presides over the House only when both the speaker and the deputy speaker are absent. Or they can also presides over the House when the post is vacant. No, they cannot preside over the House when the post of the speaker or the deputy speaker is vacant. They can only preside over the House when both of them are absent. Right? So both the statements are correct. The right answer would be option C, both 1 and 2. Next. The preamble to the Constitution is, let us see, a part of the Constitution having a binding force just like any other statutory law. Incorrect. Second statement, not a part of the Constitution and therefore has no legal significance. Not part of the Constitution. Incorrect. A part of the Constitution with its legal significance dependent on the other provisions of the Constitution. This statement is correct. Option C. Let us read the fourth option also. A crucial component of the Constitution so far with the same legal weight as any other provision of the Constitution. Note the preamble to the Constitution of India does not carry a legal weight independently of the other provisions, right? So it is whenever there is a debate in higher judiciary, whenever there is a case, whenever there are arguments, it is very common for us that we have known that the provisions of the preamble are read and understood only when it is read and understood along with the other provisions of the Constitution. So it is not independent of the provisions of the Constitution, right? So for this question, option number C is correct answer. Regulating Act of 1773 was enacted to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. So yes, we can say that. How? But how? They came up with the Supreme Court of India established at Calcutta. Second, what we can say is they barred the employees of the company from taking gifts, from accepting gifts and bribes. Right? What else was done through the 1773 Act? They established the court. They held that the employees of the company are not supposed to accept the bribes and the gifts from the native residents. Second, and what else? The company was asked to file a report with the Crown for the civil, military and financial things done in the territory of India, right? So what it was actually to control and regulate the affairs of the company. So the first statement is correct. Second, the Act of Settlement 1781 rectified the Regulating Act and empowered the Governor General to frame the regulations for the provincial courts. Can we say it rectified? Why is the word rectified used? Or was the Governor General was empowered to formulate the regulations for the provincial courts? Yes, the statement is correct, but how can we say that it was a rectification over the previous act, right? Now read this point and understand. So far where this question is concerned, both the statements are correct and the right option is answer C. Now try to understand the concept of rectification and read it, right? Consider the following. They have mentioned 4 provisions, and Parliament may by law regulate or abrogate the fundamental rights of certain individuals employed in how many of the above categories? So from the question itself, we know that fundamental rights can be regulated or abrogated, but for which of the mentioned categories? Armed forces, forces charged with the maintenance of public order, organizations established by the state for the purpose of intelligence, and telecommunication systems set up for the purpose of any force. So this is a very fundamental, static and basic question. We have seen in the previous years how they have asked the question related to the amendment of the constitution, whether to repeal, add, subtract and all those things. It was a classic example of asking from the bare act of the constitution. Now this question is also from the bare act. Article 33 of the Constitution. So all the provisions are correct. The right answer is option D, all 4. Right? So last question. Now, Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commissioner. So this is a current affairs related question. Let us see the statements. The first one is, they shall be appointed by the President from amongst persons who are holding or have held a post equivalent to the rank of Secretary to the Government of India. We have seen the recent act, the act like what was the complete right name of the act? Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners appointment, condition of service, and there was this Terms of Office Act 2023. It was passed in December, I guess, November or December, right? So yes, now why was this act passed? Because of the judgment of the Supreme Court on the same issue, and they have held that the Chief Justice of India will be part of the selection committee or the selection panel, as long as the union government does not come up with a new law, right? Now, this statement is correct. Second statement, the search committee headed by the Union Home Minister. It is Minister of Law and Justice. Right, so second statement is incorrect. Third, they shall be appointed by the President on the recommendation of a selection committee consisting of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in the House, and the people and the Union Home Minister. This is also incorrect. Any other cabinet minister nominated by the Prime Minister. Right. Last statement. The selection committee may also consider any other person than those included in the panel by the search committee. This statement is correct. Now, which of the above statements are correct? Statement 1 and 4. The right answer is option C. So yeah, right. We have discussed all the questions of the polity section in this paper, AIPMT paper 1, for prelims 2025, right? So what I have seen through these questions is that there was a blend of both static factual questions, like the article 33 wala question, and there were a couple of more, and there were static conceptual questions regarding democracy and fundamental rights and democratic elections, right? So those were the conceptual questions. Now, few questions were from the current and contemporary aspect, but they were also factual in nature. So, but they were comparatively simple, easier. They were not very dicey or what we say very deep into the provisions of any law or a scheme, like there was a question on PVTG. It was very much in news, and I believe that most of you have read it in the newspapers and must have prepared for those kind of elements which can reflect in the actual examination, right? So this paper was a right balance of all the kinds of questions that can be asked, and what else I can say. We are already in the final leg of our preparation for the prelims 25, sorry, and wish you luck. Upcoming tests, upcoming All India Prelims Mock Test series will be having we will see a gradual increase in the difficulty level. So prepare well, and good luck with your preparation. Hope to see you in the next discussion. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am R.S. Chauhan. I am going to discuss the history and culture questions related to our All India Prelims test series for 2025 for the test 1. So the questions numbers 21 to 30 and 81 to 85 are devoted to history and culture section. The 21st question is having 3 statements, and we have to identify which one of them is or are correct. So what are the statements? Let us see. Brahmagupta in his book Brahmasputa Siddhant introduced negative numbers and described them as debts and positive numbers as fortunes. Means positive numbers he was showing as fortunes, while negative numbers as debts, and he has introduced negative numbers. This is correct. Brahmagupta is a renowned mathematician of ancient India. This statement is correct. Second is Mahavir Acharya wrote Ganit Sara Sangraha, in which he described in detail about algebra. This is also true. This book is devoted to algebra. He is also a person of ancient Indian origin, a mathematician. Then the third is about Bhaskaracharya. There are 2 Bhaskaracharyas in history. The more well-known one is that of early medieval period. So Bhaskaracharya divided his book Siddhant Shiromani, this is a book on mathematics only, into 2 sections, Leelavati and Bijganit. The catch is here, it is not divided into 2 sections, rather 4 sections. Leelavati and Bijganit are first 2 sections, and the other 2 sections are Gola Adhyay, that is study of spheres, and Graha Ganit, that is mathematics of planets. While Bijganit is algebra and Leelavati is related to what you can say arithmetic. So this is how you see this statement becomes wrong. So which of the statements given above are correct? We would say answer is A, 1 and 2 only. After this comes the 22nd question. Let us see what the 22nd question is saying. With reference to the institutions of Sangh. Sangh was one of the important jewels dimension of Buddhism. We have to consider the following statements in the context of Sangh. So first, Sangh was the religious order of the Buddhists whose membership was open to all persons irrespective of caste and age. The statement sounds correct, but if you look at it objectively, there it is not correct. It was not open to all. In general, it was open to most of the people, but initially Buddha was hesitant in opening the Sangha or its membership for women. It was on the insistence of his disciple Anand and his foster mother Gautami Prajapati that he allowed women to become members of the monasteries. Besides that, there was another restriction, that is, a person should be a minimum of 15 years of age. A person below 15 years of age will not be the member of the Sangha. Another aspect was that criminals, lepers and persons who were affected by infectious diseases cannot join or cannot get admission in the Sangha. So this statement objectively becomes wrong. Second statement, initiation of monks into Sangha is referred to as Vasa when they had to ceremonially shave or tonsure their head and wear yellow or saffron robes. This statement also appears correct, but objectively there is a fault. This is true that initiation, when the monks were becoming the members of Sangha and they were introduced, it was done with the ceremony of shaving their heads and wearing yellow saffron colors. But this was not called Vasha. Vasa is related to Vas or to stay. The residence of monks during monsoon period into one place was called Vas, right? So they will stay at one place and meditate there. Ajanta and Ellora, Ajanta caves served that purpose only. So this also becomes factually wrong. Which one of the statements given above are correct? We would say neither one nor two. D is the answer for question number 22. Now we go to the 23rd question. The 23rd question is given in a tabular form. This is the pattern introduced from new type of questions introduced from this year 2024 in prelims. So there are given 3 columns and you have to see that the information given in all 3 of them matches each other or not, and if it matches, which one of them are correct in these rows. So let us see. First is Burja Home, Kashmir, Neolithic site. So it is an archaeological site, Burja Home. That's true. It is located in Kashmir. It is north of Manda. That is also a place in Srinagar. That is also correct. Then Neolithic. It was a Neolithic site. This is also correct. So the first row is correct. The information given over here is correct. Second is Payampalli. It is again archaeological site located in Tamil Nadu, and it is a Neolithic site. That's true. So New Stone Age. This is also correct. Hunski is located in Karnataka. That is true. Mesolithic site? No. It is a old Stone Age site. It is a Paleolithic site. In NCERT, if you see the map, you will get this information, right? Or in the Tamil Nadu book. So one part of the information description is wrong. Therefore, we will say this becomes wrong. Brahmagiri is a very important place. It was close to the southernmost point of the Mauryan Empire also during Ashokan period. It is located in Karnataka, not in Andhra Pradesh. So this is wrong. But it is a megalithic site where iron tools are obtained is correct. So overall this is wrong. So answer would be in which of the above rows is the information correctly matched? We would say 1 and 2 only. Answer is A for question number 23. Now we go to question number 24. Let us see what the question number 24 is about. Question number 24 is a very straight question. It is asking you that in the context of ancient India, so great trio or Brihat Trayi, it's a collection of some things which are 3 number, refers to which of the following major ancient schools of art? They are Gandhara, Amaravati and what you can say Mathura school of art, but this word is not used for them. So this is wrong. Trinity of Carnatic music, 3 persons who laid the foundation of Carnatic music or contributed to it, that is also not the word used for them. Sangam assemblies, there were 3 number, but Brihat Trayi is not used for them. It is used for 3 set of books within the Ayurveda, written by 3 important renowned personalities in the field of medicine, that is Charak, Sushrut and Bhagabhat. And the books which they wrote were Charak Samhita, Sushrut Samhita and Ashtang Hridayam Samhita. So it is for them this word is used, and the answer becomes B for question number 24. Now we go towards the next question, question number 25. Again, it is the match type question where 3 columns are given and you have to identify the information is given correct or not. So, and you have to identify which rows are correctly matched. So, in first column folk dances, in the second column name of the states to which they belong, and then third column the descriptions provide about them. So, first is Tippani. Tippani is a form of folk dance which is found in the parts of Gujarat, especially Saurashtra region, where women are getting bored as their husbands used to engage in what you can say trade, and they were far away from home. So they will gather together and dance using a what you can say device or tool having a stick and a square part on the lower side, and they will tap it on the floor and create a rhythm with the music during the dance. So Tippani is belonging to Gujarat as a folk dance form is correct. It is exclusively performed by women, that is also correct. Therefore, first row is correct. Mailattam is performed in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and generally it is peacock dance. That's also true. There are other forms of animal dance also performed in Kerala by young girls. So when they perform bull dance, it is called Kalayattam. When they perform bear dance, it is called Karadiyattam. When they perform demon dance, it is called Aliyattam. And when they perform snake dance, it is called Pampuattam. So peacock dance is called Mailattam. This is also correct. Right. So now the third thing, Kummi. Kummi is a form of folk dance that is correct, but it does not belong to Manipur. It is found in South India, most probably in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka region, Karnataka state, right? So this is true that there is no music used when the dance is performed, right? Rather, rhythm is created by maybe clapping or tapping the foot or by singing. So you can say that this becomes the wrong because it is not related to Manipur, the folk dance. Now, and this is, as I said earlier, the beats are generated through rhythmic clapping, and it is performed during Pongal and other religious festivities in these states, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Now we go to the 26th question, which is related to paintings. So here is a statement given, and you have to identify this statement or paragraph explains best which of these schools of painting. All of these schools of painting, Kangra school, Basoli school, Kishangarh school, Bundi school, are part of Pahari school of painting that emerged during the what you can say medieval period, especially during Mughal or post-Mughal period, right? And they are examples of miniature paintings, Pahari paintings, and the paragraph or statement reads like this. The popular subjects of these paintings were the Geet Govind, written by Jaydev, so it is related to Lord Krishna, Bhagavat Puran, again Lord Krishna, and Lord Vishnu in his incarnations, Satsai of Bihari Lal, Nal Damayanti, it's a love story. Another very famous group of painting is the 12 months. It was called Baramas, where the scenes from 12 months of the Hindu calendar were depicted, and the characters were bearing certain emotions on their faces according to the seasons, where the artist tried to bring forth the effect of the 12 months on the emotions of human beings. So which school is that? The answer would be Kangra school, because all these Geet Govind, Bhagavat Puran, Satsai of Bihari and Nal Damayanti and 12 months Baramas are related to Kangra school. I would say the theme of this Geet Govind might also find Basoli school, but all of them together are not the themes of painting in Basoli school, which belongs to Jammu and Kashmir. So Kangra school becomes the right. Kishangarh school is known for a particular kind of paintings called Banithani, And then comes Bundi School of Painting, which includes the paintings that developed in Bundi and twin estates of Bundi and Kota. And they are related with the theme of Krishna Bhakti. So, A is the answer for question number 26. Now, in the 27th question, there are given certain statements. Two statements are there, and we have to see whether these statements are correct or not, and whether second statement explains or supports the first statement or not. So, let us see. Shah Jahan, statement 1, is saying that Shah Jahan, who was the successor of Jahangir and grandson of Akbar, the Mughal ruler, Shah Jahan introduced month ratio or month scale system, a new scaling device under which the salaries of Mansabdars were the officials in the Mughal state, having a hierarchy, were put on a monthly scale. So, this statement is true because the land revenue was an important source of income for the state, and a particular amount was estimated that would be collected from a particular piece of land based on its production, etc. And that estimated amount, but generally was not collected in full. The actual amount was a bit lesser than the actual income. Therefore, on the basis of estimated income, if salary was given to the officers or mansabdars, there will be deficiency in revenue reaching the state. Therefore, this system was created by which in a particular year, depending on the actual collection of revenue, land revenue, a particular share of the officer was decided to be given to him as his salary. So, if in 1 year, the estimate was that there will be, say, certain amount within 12 months, but in actual, when it was calculated over the 12 months, it was equivalent to 10 or 8 months, means there was a gap between estimated income and actual income, and accordingly, the salary was given on the basis of actual income under this new system called month scale system. So, statement 2 is also correct. Month scale system was devised to bridge the gap between the estimated income and actual income of the mansabdar. Estimated income was called, I think, Hasil. And it always was lesser than the actual income. So, it was due to this reason only that Shah Jahan introduced month ratio or month scale system. Therefore, statement 1 is being supported by statement 2, or statement 2 is rightly explaining statement 1. The answer should be which of the following following is correct in respect of the above statements. We would say both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. So, automatically answer becomes A for question number 27. As far as question number 28 is concerned, again it is a very simple question in terms of the words used. Otherwise, it will require some brainstorming. You need to have in-depth understanding. You should have, most of the informative books, these questions have been picked up from standard sources like Modern Indian History written by Vipin Chandra, old NCERT, then Medieval Indian History written by Satish Chandra, again old NCERT, and Nitin Singhania's Culture book, or Upinder Singh book written for ancient and early medieval India. So, in the context of medieval India, terms Manjil Abadi, Sipah Abadi and Mulk Abadi are, so they are related to which one of them? Administrative units during the Mughal period, types of coins during the Balban rule, parts of Ain-e-Akbari, centers of Sufi conquest. So, the answer is parts of Ain-e-Akbari. Ain-e-Akbari is part of Akbar Nama written by Abul Fazl, where it provides information about Mughal administration during Akbar's time. Right? There, these words have been used. What these words are about? The entire Ain-e-Akbari is divided into 5 parts. Each part is called Daftar. So, out of these 5 books, the first 3 books has got these names: Manjil Abadi, Sipah Abadi and Mulk Abadi. Manjil Abadi, Manjil means building. So it can be related with imperial household. So this book tells us about the imperial household, the Mughal ruler and other paraphernalia related to it, and how it was maintained. The second book is called Sipah Abadi. Sipah is derived from the word Sipahi. So Sipah Abadi is about military and civil administration. That information is provided over here along with the establishment of servants. Then the third book was Mulk Abadi. It deals with the fiscal aspects of the empire. It talks about revenue and the rates of revenue in the 12 provinces of the Akbar's empire. So after this, we go to the 29th question. The 29th question is presented in the form of 3 statements, and we have to identify how many of these statements are correct. See, if we look at this, it is about, consider the following statements regarding the Charai Deo Maidam. We should understand that these have been given, they are found in Assam, belong to Ahom dynasty, and they have been given recently the status of, I think, they have been included in UNESCO's heritage list, right? So these are the statements, and we have to see whether they are correct or not. It represents the mortal remains of the members of the Ahom royalty who used to be cremated along with items needed for after life. So is it correct? Mortal remains of the members. It does not represent the mortal remains. It represents the mounds which contain mortal remains and other items. For them, this word is used. So we can say that it is mound burial. Rest of the things are correct in this statement. Then this statement, due to this reason, becomes wrong. Second is a typical moidam at Charai Deo. Moidam, in a way, you can say, is Maidan. A big area is carrying the burial of a member of the royalty of Ahom dynasty, where different items and things are buried with him, as it was believed that they will be needed after his death in the next life. And it was a land covered with grass with an elevated structure or mound under which his body was buried with different items. So second statement is a typical moidam at Charai Deo contains one or more chambers in a vault surrounded with a low octagonal wall chow chali. So what is the catch over here? See, this chow chali is not a low octagonal wall, rather it is located on the top of the chamber. So this becomes factually wrong. Look at certain images, the things will be very clear to you. Then the third is the height of a moidam is typically indicative of the power and stature of the person buried inside. That's true. If it was king, his will be the highest, that mound will be the highest. If it was somebody lesser in stature, his mound height will be less. So this is actually correct. Which of the following statements given above is correct? We would say 3 only. D is the answer for this question. For more details, you can refer the handout which will be given to you for explaining these aspects. Maidam or Charai means a shining town situated on a hilltop, indicating the mound under which a particular member of the Ahom dynasty is buried. Now we go to the 30th question, which is related to modern Indian history, Gandhian phase. Consider the following statements regarding the ideologies of Mahatma Gandhi. So first statement is, he first coined the term Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya means Sarvodaya, means progress of all, rise of all. In his book Hind Swaraj in 1908, during his return visit to South Africa from India. The statement is correct except this thing, Hind Swaraj. The first book which Gandhi was impressed with was Unto the Last, written by Ruskin, from where he picked up the idea of civil disobedience. And he, you can say, unto the last is like Sarvodaya only. So you can say that he first coined the term Sarvodaya and he borrowed it from the book Unto the Last. So this fact becomes wrong. He propounded a socio-economic philosophy of trusteeship, that's correct, which means wealthy people would be the trustees of trust that looked after the welfare of the people. That's true. It is similar to socialism, means if a businessman or industrialist is able to make a lot of profit, the wealth which he earns is not solely his own. He must take away, he must not live a filthy rich life, but he can live a reasonably good life. So whatever money is required for that purpose should be taken away. Rest of the money should be guarded as a trustee of the trust by that businessman or industrialist. That should be used for the purpose of other people, for the welfare of the people. That is the idea. And this is correct. Then third, he elucidated or explained in detail his ideas of Swaraj in an essay published in Navajivan. Navajivan was a paper, I think, during non-cooperation movement in 12 points. This is also correct. So statements second and third are correct. First is wrong. So answer becomes, which of the statements given above is correct? We would say B is the answer, 2 and 3 only for question number 30. As far as ideologies of Gandhi are concerned, you must be familiar with the terms like truth, that is Satya, non-violence, Ahimsa, Satyagraha, Swaraj, trusteeship and Swadeshi. Some of these terms were borrowed by Gandhi from the previous Indian luminaries and he made them his own or presented in his own manner. Now, question number 81. In the context of the history of India, Deoli plan of action is known for which of the following? I think Deoli is a place in Tonk district of Rajasthan. So there a plan was prepared which was supposed to be radical in nature by Jayaprakash Narayanan when the English were using too much force to suppress the Quit India movement, and the movement has gone underground where the members of Congress party, especially Congress Socialist Party, with the group within the Congress, became quite active. So let us see what could be the answer. First is strategy to establish the Federal Republic of United States of India by HSRA based on principle of adult franchise. No, they followed the path of armed rebellion and it is not related to them, the Deoli plan of action. Second, Congress Socialist Party's CSP, it was formed in 1934. CSP action to disrupt the smooth functioning of the war machinery. That's true. Actually, the British intelligence got the reports that the workers of the Congress Socialist Party have gathered in Allahabad and they created a radical course of action and they made a plan and they said that national unity could be achieved under Gandhian leadership only if Gandhi accepted a radical plan of action rather than satyagraha. These papers were seized by the authorities to take action against the revolutionaries. So this is the right answer, right? After this, we go to the next question, that is question number 82. Consider the following events in the history of India. So in a way, we have to see the chronology. Foundation of Bethune School by J.A.D. Bethune. He was the head of education department in Bengal and he played an important role in spreading education in Bengal, especially girls' modern education. And the school was founded by him in 1849. Establishment of Agricultural Research Institute at Pusa. This happened in 1905. Then the third part is setting up of universities at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. The provision for setting up these universities was made, or the session was given in Charles Dispatch, which is called the Charles Wood's Dispatch, which is also called the Magna Carta of English education in India. And accordingly, the three universities in three presidency towns were established in 1857. Then setting up of first engineering institution at Roorkee, now which is now IIT Roorkee. This happened in 1847. Now we can see what is the chronology, what could be the correct answer. Answer should be 1847, it comes first. So 4132. C is the answer for question number 82. After this, we go to the next question, that is question number 83. With reference to the Trade Union Act 1826, it's a question which requires in-depth understanding. With reference to the Trade Union Act 1926, consider the following statements. So 3 statements are given and we have to see whether in the context of this particular act they are correct or not. So let us see. It recognized trade unions as legal associations and laid down conditions for registration and regulation of trade union activities. This is true, that was the main purpose of this act. Second, it secured only civil immunity for trade unions from prosecution for legitimate activities and put some restrictions on their political activities. This statement is correct, but it is partially correct. Not only civil, but also criminal immunity. So this statement becomes wrong. Third, it provided for a system of tribunals and a ban on strikes and laid down procedures for the establishment of courts of inquiry and boards of conciliation. See, this was not the provision included in Trade Union Act 1926. It was included in Trade Union Act 1929, right? So this becomes wrong. So answer for question number 83 would be, there is only one statement correct. So answer is A. Which of the statements given above is correct? One only. Answer is A for question number 83. Now we go to the question number 84. Consider the following statements. So now there is given a statement and we have to see whether in the context of the statement there are 2 statements given basically, and you have to see, again it's a question where again you have to identify whether statement 2 is supporting statement 1 or not. So let us see. Statement 1 is saying Independence for India League. So it is a body which was formed by Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, was organized as a pressure group. This was formed after Nehru report, because Nehru report in its recommendation did not talk about complete independence. Rather it talked about dominion status for India. And the young leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose, who represented Congress, and Jawaharlal Nehru, who was the secretary of the Nehru committee, and the chairman was his father Motilal Nehru. So these 2 young people did not agree with this idea of dominion status. They said complete independence should be demanded. So they formed an Independence of India League within the Congress, not outside the Congress, to what you can say create pressure on the All India Party or conference through Independence for India League to demand inclusion of independence for India as the main demand, not dominion status. So this statement, due to this word, becomes wrong. So statement 1 is wrong in this question. Statement 2, it was founded in opposition to the Nehru report agreement to carry forward the campaign for acceptance of the goals of complete independence. That's true. So statement 1 is wrong, statement 2 is correct. So the answer becomes D in this case, right? Now the last question in history section from my side. 85. Which of the following personalities first linked capitalism with imperialism and stated imperialism and militarism are the twin children of capitalism? It means capitalism was outcome of industrial revolution, and the capitalist class wanted their governments in Europe to establish control so that they can exploit their resources to feed their industries. In Asia and Africa, they should establish this control. This was the idea. So, Lala Lajpat Rai, while developing a economic critique of colonialism or imperialism, said that imperialism, which was the philosophy of establishing political control by one country over the other, and militarism. The tool used was military power to do so. Both of them, imperialism and militarism, were the twin children of capitalism. And this was said by the extremist leader Lala Lajpat Rai, who was one of the famous leaders of the trio of the extremist leaders, Lal Wal Pal, and he was the one who also headed or presided over the first meeting of the All India Trade Union Congress. So this was all from my side. I hope this is beneficial, and for more details you can refer our handouts. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Zahidul. I am the Faculty of Science and Technology and Current Affairs at Lukmaan IAS. So today I am going to take the discussion of Science and Technology section for All India Prelims Mock Test 1. Alright, so in this particular paper there are 10 questions from Science and Technology section. Question number 41 to question number 50 are from Science and Technology, and we are going to look into each question. We are going to understand about, let's say, like, various things related to that particular question. All right, so this is the first question, and this question is very, very important. Why? Because recently you might have heard in news that, like, Sunita Williams, she was stranded in International Space Station. So generally, like, there have been phenomena in the past also where astronauts are stranded in the atmosphere, or let's say in the International Space Station for a long time, or they stay over there. So during this process, do they come across any, let's say, potential health hazard? Related to that, this question has been formed, and this question says, consider the following statements about risks involved in human space flight. Okay. So what are the risks involved in human space flight? So 3 statements are given. We need to identify which of these statements are correct. Number 1, the risk of radiation exposure increases significantly for astronauts during long duration space missions. This is right. This statement is right, because if astronauts remain in a spacecraft for a long time, so, like, risk of radiation exposure increases. All right. Second statement, spacecraft operating in low Earth orbit are immune to the effects of microgravity. Okay, so those spacecraft that are operating in the low Earth orbit, okay, let's say if we talk about International Space Station, it is also in low Earth orbit. Like, astronauts go there, they reside over there for a long time, right? And they are also affected by microgravity. Okay, they are also affected by microgravity. So they are not immune. They are not immune. So that's why second statement is wrong. Third, psychological stress can affect astronauts' performance during the missions, especially those that are prolonged. This statement is right. So how many statements are right? Only 2. First and third statements are right in this question. All right. So with this, let us now quickly move to the next question. This is question number 42, and this question is related to diseases, certain kind of diseases that affect human beings. So here they are talking about autoimmune diseases, and 3 statements are given. We need to identify which of these statements are right. First statement, it says autoimmune diseases occur when the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy cells in the body. Okay, this statement is right. When our immune system considers that healthy cells are the foreign cells, then it attacks that, and then, let's say, it leads to autoimmune disease. This statement is right. Second statement, it is talking about a specific disease. Okay, now name of the disease is mentioned here. It is multiple sclerosis. Is primarily characterized by destruction of insulin producing cells in the pancreas. Okay, this statement is wrong, because, like, they are talking about here diabetes mellitus, okay, here, but like the question is about multiple sclerosis, and multiple sclerosis happens because of, let's say, one specific type of let's say protective sheet when it is attacked, and this is known as myelin sheet. When the myelin sheets are attacked in the nerve fibers, then multiple sclerosis happens. So that's why second statement is wrong. When we talk about the third statement, it says Rheumatoid arthritis, okay, so rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease that primarily affects the joints, leading to inflammation and pain. This statement is right, okay. First and third statement is right in this particular question. So that's why only two statements are right. Option B is the right answer. All right. So with this, let us now quickly go to the next question. Okay, this particular question is related to quantum communication, all right. So here they are talking about quantum entanglement. You might have heard about superposition, principle of entanglement. So this is related to that. It says, consider the following statements about quantum entanglement, all right. They have given three statements. Number one, it says quantum entanglement describes a phenomena where the quantum states of two particles are independent of each other. Okay. See, entanglement means that the particles are connected with one another in certain way. Means like they are related to one another. If they are independent, so they will not be entangled. Are you understanding? Entangled means they are connected with one another in certain way. So that's why first statement is wrong. Second, it says when two particles are entangled, measuring the state of one particle instantly determines the state of the other, even if they are separated by large distances. This is the property of quantum entanglement. Means when two particles are entangled, and even if these particles are very far away from one another, if you can determine the state of a particle, you can determine the state of the other particle. It is automatically determined. This statement is right. Second. Third, quantum entanglement violates the principle of locality, which states that objects are only influenced by their immediate surrounding. This statement is also right. So correct answer is option B here. Second and third statements are right. Alright, second and third statements are right in this particular question. So with this, let us now move to the next question. This question is related to RNA. Okay, so it says match the following types of RNA with their functions. Okay, why we have asked question on RNA? Because this year in 2024, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Nobel Prize in Medicine has been awarded to two people for their discovery of, let's say, gene regulation, post-transcriptional gene regulation. And there they have worked on microRNA, all right? But here in this particular question, we have asked about different types of RNA so that you are clear what kind of RNA does what is the role of RNA of a specific type. Okay, so RNAs are of different types, right? So they help in protein synthesis, they do perform other functions as well. So here name of the RNA is mentioned, on the right side their functions are mentioned. So it says mRNA. mRNA means messenger RNA. Okay, messenger RNA, this statement is right. It says carries genetic information from DNA. Okay, messenger RNA basically carries information from DNA to ribosomes for protein synthesis. Okay, this is the right statement. Then they are talking about tRNA. tRNA means, okay, tRNA means transfer RNA. Okay, so what is transfer RNA? Transfer RNA basically transfers specific amino acids to ribosomes during photosynthesis. Okay, so this statement is also right. It transports amino acids to ribosomes during photosynthesis. This is also right. Third, it says ribosomal RNA. Okay, it forms the core of the ribosomes. Okay, it forms the core of the ribosomes and catalyze peptide bond formation. Okay, this is also right. And so finally, fourth is also right. snRNA, small nuclear RNA, it is involved in RNA splicing. Okay, so A, B, C, D all are correctly matched. Means correct answer is option A. Alright, so we have given this question in a simplified manner so that you understand what are different types of RNA, what are different functions of these RNA. Basically in the explanation file, right, we have given details about these RNA, where these RNAs are found, what is their structure, right. So we have discussed all of it in that file. So you can go through that file to understand a little more about different types of RNA. Now let us discuss about this question. This is question number 45. It says, consider the following statements about transcriptional regulation. Okay, this is also very important. It is related to the Nobel Prize in Physiology, Nobel Prize in Medicine this year, because those people have been awarded for let's say their work on, let's say, post-transcriptional gene regulation, right? And here we are talking about transcriptional regulation. Okay, so this is connected to that topic, and it is very important. Okay, that's why you need to go through this question. All right, it says the enhancer region of DNA can be located far from gene it regulates. This statement is right. Okay, so basically, like, we have discussed about these topics in the GS Foundation class. We have discussed about recombinant DNA technology. We discussed about different types of, let's say, DNA, their functions, and let's say we have discussed about types of RNA also. We have discussed how gene editing happens. So related to that. Okay, however, in the file we have given explanation. You can go through it. Second, it says repressors bind to promoters. This statement is wrong. Repressors do not bind to promoters. Okay, repressors generally bind to, let's say, like, repressive agents so that they can function properly. Okay, so repressors bind to operator regions or silencers. Okay, to inhibit transcription. Okay, so bind to promoters to inhibit transcription, not to, let's say, like, initiate transcription. Third, RNA polymerase is recruited to the promoter region during transcription initiation. This is correct, this is correct, second is wrong. So option B is the right answer. First and third statements are correct in this case. Now let us move to the next question, question number 46. Okay. So this question is about satellite technology. Okay. It is related to satellite technology. We will quickly go through this question. It says, this question is very important, very basic question from science and technology section. It says, satellite is in geostationary orbit appear to be stationary relative to a fixed point on Earth. This statement is right. This is the definition of geostationary, let's say, orbit or geostationary satellite. Then second says, the global positioning system or GPS consists of only 3 satellites. This statement is wrong because GPS consists of at least, okay, GPS consists of at least 24 satellites. Okay, they consist of at least 24 satellites. Third statement, low Earth orbit satellites are typically used for Earth observation and communication due to their proximity to the planet. This is also right. Correct answer is only 2. Okay, first and third are right. Now with this, let us quickly move to the next question. Question number 47. Consider the following statements about chronic diseases. Okay, what? Chronic diseases. We are going to understand about it. Type 2 diabetes is characterized by insulin resistance and is often associated with obesity. This is right. Okay. It is about type 2 diabetes. It is associated with insulin resistance and it is, let's say, it is means like associated with what? Obesity. Second, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, is primarily caused by viral infections to the lung. It is not caused by viral infections. I mean, like, COPD is caused by irritants, like, if you come across a smoke for a long period of time, then COPD happens, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. However, if a person is infected by virus, so it may aggravate the situation. Okay, so that's why second statement is wrong. Third, hypertension is often referred to as the silent killer due to its asymptomatic nature in many patients. This is right. See, hypertension is something which is, I mean, like, for example, if you have high blood pressure, if you have more anxiety, more stress, so it leads to hypertension situations. And it is asymptomatic, means its symptoms are not largely visible. So that's why it is considered to be a silent killer. And this statement is right. So answer is first and third statements are right, only B. Okay. So with this, now let us move to the next question. This is 48. Okay. Consider the following statements about recombinant DNA technology, means gene editing. This question is about gene editing, recombinant DNA technology. So, first statement says recombinant DNA technology involves combining DNA from different organisms to produce new genetic combinations. Okay, so like gene editing means we have one gene, we have other gene, and we can add them, we can delete some portion from a first gene. So this is, this statement is right. It is talking about that recombinant DNA technology involves combining DNA from different, let's say, organisms to produce new genetic combinations. Now, second, the enzyme reverse transcriptase is used to convert RNA into DNA during cloning. Okay. So this is question number 48, and this question is related to recombinant DNA technology. Okay, this statement is also right. Now third statement, genetically modified organisms can only be created using, now they are saying that genetically modified organisms can only be created using bacterial DNA. This statement is wrong. This can be created using plant DNA also, it can be created using animal DNA as well. So that's why this statement is wrong. First and second are correct. Okay, so this is the right answer. Now with this, let us quickly move to the next question. Question number 49. What it says, which of the following statements regarding artificial neural networks, ANN is or are correct? This year's Nobel Prize in Physics has been awarded to three people in fact, for their work on artificial neural network and machine learning that has led to the development of artificial intelligence as we see today. Okay, so that's why artificial neural networks are very, very important. Artificial neural networks generally mimic the human brain. Okay, so one artificial neural network mimics one neuron of a human brain. Okay, so that's why this topic is very important, because nowadays artificial intelligence is also very important. It says artificial neural networks are modeled after the structure of the human brain with interconnected nodes similar to biological neurons. This statement is right. Second, artificial neural networks can handle only linearly separable problems and require additional models for non-linear problems. This statement is wrong. Why? Because using artificial neural networks, we can also solve complex problems. You might have heard about activation function. Okay, so activation function is something that helps the artificial neural networks to solve complex functions. And there are multiple methods also. One is known as ReLU, or you might have heard about sigmoid. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, back propagation and forward propagation, these are methods of training artificial neural networks. Forward propagation means, let's say this is a neuron, this is a neuron, so it is receiving incoming signals, and further neurons, they transmit it in this fashion, like that. Okay, they are connected with one another this way. So if the information is moving forward, it is forward propagation. Then back propagation helps in giving feedback and reducing the error. Okay, so back propagation is commonly used algorithm to train artificial neural network by minimizing the error through gradient descent. This statement is right. So first and third statements are right. Option B is right. Okay, first and third. Now let us move to the next question, which is question number 50. Okay, match the following missiles with their country of origin. Okay, country of origin. So on one side we have missiles, on the other side we have country of origin, in which country these missiles were developed. Why we are talking about this? Because missiles are in news nowadays because of the let's say warfare that is going on in the Middle East, warfare that is going on between Russia and Ukraine, and also Israel and Hamas. Okay, so it says Tomahawk. So Tomahawk has been developed by the United States. Then when we talk about Barak 8, okay, Barak 8, it is of Israel. Then Fateh 2, it is of Iran. S-400 is of Russia. Okay, Barak 8 was recently in news because Israel is in a state of warfare. Then Fateh 2, like Iran has recently fired more than 180 or about 300 missiles on one specific night on Israel. So that missile is known as Fateh 2. And as you know, like India imports S-400 missiles from Russia, right? So all of these are very much in news, all right? So correct answer is like, A2, B1, C3, D4. C is the right answer, okay? C is the right answer. So that's all from Science and Technology section for the day. And thank you so much for watching this discussion. Other faculties are going to come, they are going to take their respective discussion. Please stay tuned and watch the entire discussion so that you remember each concept, and it is going to help you to qualify the upcoming prelims exam. All the best to all of you. Thank you so much once again.